and then I opened it up and like all these bees came out, and I was like, my light's not on. And I was like, all these bees came out, and I'm like, oh, we're live. We're live, dude.
No.
Hey,
you'll
everybody.
have to finish your bee story later.
Yes, there was a vicar and stuff. It was weird. Hey, everybody, it's Foxx. I can't do it as well as Ted. I really can't. Welcome to Monday night. It's the Monday night eModel show. Hey, hello, welcome everybody. With me as always is my very good friend Chris. I can't think of a joke for your name, so I'm just saying Chris over and over, aren't I?
Yep, but
Obviously.
It works. Okay. Hello, everybody. Evening all.
Yes. As always, I'll start that again. I'm already off on a bad start. You may have noticed Ted is not with us again tonight. He's still waiting for BT to get the finger out and sort his broadband out. So hopefully soon.
We're hoping next week, aren't we?
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. You never know.
I don't know about anything else, but
it would be nice. My light is in just the wrong place because I'm looking at the camera and all I've got is a light shining right there in my face. Right there. It's like snowblind. But welcome, it's Monday night, which means it's eModels Hangout night, which means for the next couple of hours we'll talk nonsense, fueled by your questions and happy chat in the chat. So, as always, opening spiel, if you're watching this somewhere where you can't see the live chat, so if you're watching from emodels.co.uk/live or the link in the Facebook page, do click on the little YouTube icon in the bottom right-hand corner, down there somewhere.
You got the side right as well. Impressive.
I know. I'm getting used to it now. It's over there. I've just got to figure out where the actual corner is without looking at the screen. Do click on the little YouTube icon. It'll take you to the YouTube page where this stream is, and you can join in the live chat because we will be doing giveaways later on for stickers and that. So it's worth being in the chat. Plus, the guys in chat are kind of awesome. Now, to everybody in chat, as always, you know, we depend on you for your questions and giving us things to talk about. So you've got a few options. If you are in the live chat, if you want to ask us a question, please, for the love of dog, do. Put your question, the whole sentence, in all big fat capital letters so we can see it. Now, there's only two of us again this week, so we're going to struggle to keep up with the chat because it's hard to keep track of it. We'll miss a lot, so apologies. But put your question in big fat capital letters. If you want to, you can click on the little super chat icon at the bottom of the chat window, the little dollar sign. That will put your chat in a big coloured box and we can't possibly miss it. Or if you can't access the chat, you feel free to drop an email, ask your question via email, and just mail it to ted@emodels.co.uk. And don't forget, when we do our sticker giveaways later on, if you want to send us a question and answer for us to use in the giveaway section, if we read your question out and use that, we'll send you a sticker as well. So again, ted@emodels.co.uk. Ted is forwarding the messages onto us via the magic of the internet, so we should still get the questions. So anyway, yes, how the devil are you, Chris? It's been a week.
I'm good. I was just checking to make sure, and I don't think I've got any questions sent from Ted yet. So
no, I've got one. I've got one from Scott that he sent me personally. So
I forgot to ask earlier and check.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's not
got
one there.
One question tonight.
Woo. Anyway, yes, I'm quite good this week. It's quite warm. It's a bit warm here.
It's absolutely moist in all the wrong places tonight.
Yeah. I've only had this t-shirt on like 10 minutes and it's already starting to show signs of wear.
Yeah, this is going in the washing machine as soon as I finish, because that'll be like coffee time and sleep time, but tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yes, it is beautifully hot. You can tell it's summertime, as you can tell by the title of this video, because there are bees everywhere. Bees, all the big fuzzy bumblebees. I love bumblebees. We get loads of them in our garden, so I like to sit and watch them fuzzing around. It's great. But what have you been up to, dude? How's your week gone in the terms of the modelling and the benching?
My week of modelling. This week I have mostly been doing.
You've got to do it in the right accent. I can't believe you don't do the accent for that.
I've been continuing on with the Saturn V build.
Big space tube.
I've been doing stage 2.
Ooh.
So I've got some little rockets that I haven't glued on yet, but they go on the bottom there. And that's a slightly smaller tube that goes onto the slightly bigger tube behind me.
Have you actually glued it to the base? Or is that just a fixed
base? It clips on it. So it sort of clips onto the base.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, that will be going back on there. The fit wasn't great. The tube wasn't tube shaped.
Was it one of those Revell tubes? Or
it's a Revell tube. The one side, when you clip one side together, it's like lovely, and then you look at the other side, and instead of being tube shaped, it's like that.
Hooray!
So yeah, there was some sprue glue enhancements, which I've done a bit of sanding down tonight to get that bit right. So yeah,
so you're treading
fun.
Treading the path that the NASA engineers
I'm sure they did exactly the same thing. When
Yeah,
they
they've
were
been
building
like,
the
oh,
actual thing.
this tube just doesn't make
Close.
Damn it. It's the last time we get MPC to make these tubes for us. Interestingly enough, a little bit of small background information. Many years ago, I used to write a little blog, and I did an interview once with a woman called Sarah something or other, well remembered, who was actually an engineer at NASA when they were during the Apollo project.
Yeah.
She was one of the very few female engineers, and I can't remember her name for the life of me. She was a really nice lady. Told me all about what it was like working there.
Nice. A couple of people in chat have been saying that the video's been buffering today.
Oh, it shouldn't be. We did quite a few months ago change the way the video sets up, so it's set up for real-time interaction. So instead of focusing on the video being steady, it puts more emphasis on the video being in sync with the chat, so you get less lag between the chat and the video, so we can interact real time and the giveaways are better. It does mean occasionally it might buffer if your connection's not super fast. So if you do get any problems, just refresh your browser page. It might kick it back in again. And I have to apologize. This morning I set up the Hangout and everything for this. Sent the URL to the guys at eModels to put on the Facebook page. And about an hour ago, when I came to get it going, YouTube decided it wouldn't let me do it. It just broken. So I had to delete the Hangout and start again. So that's why if you came on about an hour ago and it suddenly disappeared and you had to go back in again, the web address, the URL changed because YouTube burped and it all broke. So yay.
Phil Kett in chat is agreeing with me. The fit on that Revel Saturn 5 kit is terrible.
Yeah. It just gives you more to play with.
The first stage wasn't so bad, but the second stage really is. But you know, it's modelling, isn't it? If it all went together, it'd be Lego.
Well, pretty much. I mean, I'm not averse to, I do like a nice kit that goes together really well, but I will admit sometimes you kind of like the bit of the challenge in some kits. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't fit together very well, but I'm not too fussed.
It is an old kit. It's not a new moulding or anything. It's ancient. So
yeah, I mean, if that was a new kit and it would just like new tooling like came out last year and it was like that, I'd be like, yeah, that's not very good. But as soon as you know it's an old print, basically, like the old Airfix ones, they're like 40 years old now. So as soon as you know it's an old kit, you know there's going to be some remedial work needed, and that can make it fun sometimes. I just get grumpy when it's a brand new kit and it's got shoddy fit, and I'm like, oh come on, it's 2018, come on. Some manufacturers do that.
There has been some mention in chat about your face furniture.
Yes, it is.
Seems some of it's fallen off.
Yeah, I woke up and it just kind of it detached from my face and decided to attach to the pillow instead. So I woke up with like, I won't make that comment. I was going to say something, I won't say it. Yes, it's too hot. It's too damn hot, and it was getting on my nerves. And I was kind of sick of looking like a hobo, so I got the thing out and went bzz, bzz, but I decided to leave it long here. I didn't trim this bit.
What have you done? What have you done with all the hair? Have you made a cushion or something?
I managed to stuff an entire horse with it, so I've got a nice stuffed horse. It's great. It's life size and everything. Oh no, on one side, on the other side is glass, and you can see the bones inside.
Now nobody would do that. That'd be silly.
Yeah. So yes, I've left this bit because I'm on an adventure, and my beard's never grown this long, so I'm kind of at the stage now where it's like, here there be monsters. I don't know what it's going to do, so I'm letting it do what it needs to do to see what it does. At the moment, I've got this kind of like step here, so I think my beard would verge on the kind of biblical Moses style beard where it's all straight and just wavy, and I don't.
Do you think there's going to be another step further down, and then it's going to little like staircase?
It'd be like some fractal or something. It's constantly recycling. So I don't know what it's going to do. I'm hoping it doesn't go biblical, and I want it to be like a proper pointy Edwardian beard, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I think you have to do the pointy bit yourself. I don't think it naturally occurs.
Oh, darn it.
I was getting a bit warm as well, so I've just removed most of my hair. But
yes.
It's all spread over, but just short.
Yeah. But it's just too damn warm. It's too damn warm for like all the furniture on there. So yes, it has been trimmed. And for some reason, my moustache is bugging me again tonight. It's going like that into my mouth, which is annoying.
Terry at Smooth's Workshop says it looks like it's splitting into two.
Yes,
got 2 little feet.
It can do. You can sculpt it. I can do topiary with it. I can get the kind of proper like Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
And Ted says you should plait it.
I don't think it's long enough for that.
I think I have to get a bit longer yet.
Yeah, I'm not quite TK levels. Now I just feel like the professor from Tintin.
Griff MJ says Foxx will be busting out a flute solo next.
And they set sail from Liverpool, never to return. Going on folk song. No, I don't do Aaron sweaters. So anyway, Fox, what have you been up to? I've been up to not a lot this week, actually. Nothing I can show you because I did some Warhammers on over the weekend, and they're all in a box drying. And I worked on my Strike Rouge, Master Grade Strike Rouge Autori. But because of real life stuff getting in the way, I didn't get a chance. I've not finished denubbing it yet, and that's all in the box in parts. So, not really a lot to show everybody this week.
That's why I didn't ask you what you've been doing, because you said you haven't been doing anything.
Yes, I did. I mean, I primed some of my little dudes from my Warhammer army. They've been primed. That's about as far as I got. One of my followers did send me a load of Skitari Rangers / Vanguard, so I've been making those, and they're awesome.
You mean Skitari I?
Skitari, yeah.
E-I-O. Yes.
I know. I've made it all go funny shape now, and I can't get it back. It looks like something uncouth. I can't really talk about. No, I shouldn't have fiddled with it. Now it's gone wrong.
Story of my life.
I can make it go out sideways.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it alone now. It looks like something I'm not going to mention. I can't leave it now. I'm looking at it and going, oh, it's in the wrong. Oh, right, shut up. Anyway, moving on. So who have we got in tonight? Let's have a look and see who we have tonight. We have Damn Ducks Bobbington was in first. Oops, what happened? I think he came from when the first stream died. Ickle Pete is in. Best name ever. Sergeant Bones is in. Welcome, Sergeant Bones. Smooth's in. Welcome, Terry. Lord Barclay III is in. Oh, hello, chaps, he says. We have Matty's Metal Detecting South Wales. No idea what he does for a living.
You missed Simon D there.
Yeah. Did it? Oh, Simon D. Yes, of course. Evening. So welcome to Simon and Matty. We have Gaz Vickers is in. Mike Mountain, Dad's in. Hey, Dad. Phil Ketton, Sprue Glue Addict even. Sprue Glue Addict says, I miss Ted. He'll be back soon. Matt Bradford, welcome, Matt. Speedy Curator's in. Welcome, welcome. I always have a cup of coffee after I do my live stream, just so you know. Spid. He also says he's got a raging headache, so if everybody can just type really loudly to Spid. It's cruel, that, isn't it?
Don't mind that at all. That'd be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Ted is in. He's in the chat. A wild Ted appeared, and he's using Neighbours Broadband. It's super effective.
It's not that effective. No,
it's not that effective. He'll probably be in and out all over the place. But Ted is in the chat. So behave.
Ted was actually one of the people that said that it was buffering and he might be a bit behind, so he might not hear that for a little while.
Oh, if it was Ted that said that, then we'd have to worry about it.
It wasn't just Ted. It was other people as well.
Oh, was it not? Okay, I was going to say it was just Ted.
No, I'd have ignored that. Yeah.
Okay. Stein Van Gemert is in. Welcome, Stein. Stein. These are awesome. Stein sent me some God-hand nippers and absolutely brilliant. Sergeant Bones, dear God, Gordon is dead. What happened to your face? Osric 9000's in. Welcome, Osric. Who else have we got? Griff MJ is in. George Taylor, Michael Jackerman. Eddie Maff, Phil East. Welcome, folks. Kenneth's in. Hey, Kenneth. Well, good morning.
Probably more.
Hello, Fox. I'm the other bloke, says Kenneth.
Yeah, thanks, Kenneth.
Yeah.
Love you too.
We accept your upside-down greetings. Russell Williamson has just come in. Fox needs a bit of conditioner on his beard. I shampooed it and conditioned it this morning. It's just because it's so hot and sweaty. It's just not right. I'm going to have to like 4 showers a day at the moment. So, yeah, it's not right. Anyway. So that's everybody who's in. Apologies if we missed anybody. We have to whiz through it quite quickly. So, yes, that's where we're up to. So if anybody's got any questions, please feel free to back them in the chat. Full big capital letters. I'm also already run out of ideas, so I'll turn it to Chris and say, Chris, have you got any ideas?
Thank you. What are things to do?
Yeah, well, for the next 2 hours. I've got a question to ask, so that's one.
Okay, well, we'll save that till later.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the other thing I've been doing this week is getting a box ready. I have a large box empty at the moment, but I shall be putting into it 2 things. I shall be putting into it this plane.
That's one thing.
That's one thing. And if anybody remembers way back when, it's his motorbike.
That's another thing.
A little bit bigger than the normal scale that I work at.
That is indeed 2 things.
And on, when I pick up my mouse again, on Friday we are heading up and down and sideways, depending on where we're coming from, to eModels.co.uk.
Yes.
Up in wherever it is in the middle of nowhere up north.
Stoke, not Sheffield. Stoke.
It's around there somewhere,
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah. I put it in the sat nav and it says it's going to take like 4 weeks to get there. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're driving my car. I don't,
So yes,
I don't go
I
over
shall,
more than 50 on the motorway. It's like, oh.
I shall be putting them in a box and driving up to deliver those on Friday.
Yes,
And
big for in case
also arriving there will be.
Yes, well, you carry on. You carry on.
And Ted is going to be there as well.
Yep.
So the whole Monday night team will be assembled in one place for the first time ever.
Yes. Well, apart from Tony, who was going to come but can't make it now.
Yeah, but he's never on the stream anyway, so it doesn't really count.
That's true. That's true. But yes, it's going to be. It's going to be this Friday. I'm probably going to get. Well, I don't know what time. I'm normally set off about 9 o'clock, so I'll get there for about 10:30. But I don't know. But all three of us are going. Well, also Dad's also coming as well. Mike Mountain from chat, and Gordon Bennett, or John Bennett, one of our friends. Paul, your mate Paul, my mate Paul, is coming.
Yep.
Anybody else? I always forget somebody.
Think anybody else is? Nobody else has told us they will be, but I'm sure they will be.
Okay.
Other people can arrive, and
yeah. But basically, we'll be there from probably about 11 o'clock in the morning onwards, I would guess.
Yeah, I won't be there till about 1.
Yeah. So from some point in the morning onwards, we'll be turning up. But you're all welcome to come along. If you're in the area or you're local or you've got a day off work and you're not local but you don't mind driving hundreds of miles, do feel free to pop along and say hello.
Yeah, Dad says he's bringing donuts.
Yay! I might bring donuts as well.
All the donuts.
Well, I might bring donuts, but I don't think I'll arrive with donuts.
Ah, that's different. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Give me a box of Krispy Kreme and a long motorway journey, dubbing cream.
Paul says, Fox bloody remembered I was going. He's all excited. He keeps forgetting.
Well, I didn't mention it on the video the other day because I didn't think he was going because I thought he couldn't get time off work. So.
Yeah.
But now I know he can.
Tony Blackwell says he might be there.
Oh, cool. Jolly good, jolly good.
He gets a free donut from Dad if he's going. Dad just said. So
yeah, unless I've arrived first, in which case there'll be no donut.
Yeah, well, Paul just said by the time we get there, I'm sure they'll be gone. So yeah.
But yes, everybody is welcome to turn up. It's for those that don't know, eModels isn't like a walk-in shop. It's not like a shop. It's a warehouse. It's like a working warehouse. It's a warehouse with a public counter where you can do the business. So there might be a bit of standing around with a cup of tea or something. But I'm sure they won't mind if I dive onto the kettle and make people brews and things like that. So yeah, feel free to come along.
You can obviously order online and say that you'll collect from the store. Is the quick way of doing it. So instead of having to wonder what you want when you get there, because you can't, as you say, wander around shelves and stuff, order it online and saves you postage. Yeah, when you get to the how to pay for my thing and shipping and stuff, just choose the collect in store option, or either says collect in store or you'll phone the payment through. All you need to do is put a note on saying I'll collect it in store, and they'll put it to one side for you. It'll be there when you come, rather than, because like I say, you can't really go wandering around the shelves. So either you need to know what you're going for. So yeah, order it in advance. Paul's already reserved the chocolate covered one with custard in the middle. Ooh, I don't mind that because I don't like that one. I quite like the ring one with the hundreds and thousands on top. That would do as a second choice if they haven't got a proper filled one. But yeah, whatever's left when I get there. See, I'm just a Luddite, me, because I just like the traditional donut with the frosting on the top, and that's it. No, you've got to have bits on it. Well, otherwise, no point. The coffee one, I like the coffee one as well, but obviously. But just a traditional donut with the traditional donut glazing on top, and I'm happy as a pig in muck. George Taylor has just said, Fox, is that a biplane kit on the shelf to your right? You're going to build it? I assume you mean your right, not your left. But that one over there is a... hang on. Is a... it's an Edward Weekend Albatross DV. But it's not. I won't be building it. It's for me. I'll be giving it away to someone else on my own channel. So I've got a load of kits to give away to people. So yes, well, I quite fancy doing a biplane though at some point. I did a biplane. Look, there's. Let me lock on you so you can make the noises. I don't make noise. I don't know what noise it makes. It goes. Maybe a bit more spluttery, but that's pretty much. Yeah, that was a 144 Nighthawk, I think. That sounds like an emo plane. Emu plane? Does that mean head stuck in the ground? That's what it would sound like if the Smiths designed the engine. I always had this thing in my head that if you listen to any Smiths song, because I hate the Smiths, I can't stand the Smiths. But I realized very early on, if you listen to any Smiths song, they only ever use 3 notes. Morrissey only ever sings in 3 notes. Oh, that's it. Only ever those 3 notes. Just use those 3 notes. You can sing any Smith song.
and try and sing from the back of your throat as well. Because
Damn Ducks Bobbington says, legs, because we saw your legs when you went there.
saw the half Irish, half Scottish back of my knees.
You'll be taking them to eModels as well.
I know. I'll probably
if you're lucky, mine might be there as well.
Yeah. If it's like this, I'll be wearing shorts for sure.
Yep.
And you'll see I may be half Irish, half Scottish, but definitely got Scottish knees.
Yeah. SpiddyQ8 says the best donut is the ring donut, fresh from the fryer, dropped in a cinnamon sugar. Used to get them in packs of 5 for £1 when he lives next door at Skig Vegas.
From where?
Skig Vegas.
Skink Vegas. Skink as in the small creature?
No, Skeg Vegas.
Oh, Skeg Vegas. Oh.
Is that a real place or is that a made up name?
Yeah, it's got to be. There's got to be a ring donut.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah, I like ring donuts, but then you can't fill them with stuff.
It's the one thing I'll say Americans do better than us is donuts, because their ring donuts are nicer than them. Even though ours have got things in the middle, like lovely gooey things, I still like the American versions.
Yeah. Paul says he bought that biplane to punish me. He did. I can't remember what he was punishing me for.
Probably some infraction you've forgotten about already.
It didn't come with rigging, so I used a bit of thread to make it before I picked up some Easy Line.
Yeah.
But not bothering doing it.
Dave Wiserum Gumbarker asks, him and Dad are going to Tank Fest on Saturday, and asks if anybody else is going to Tank Fest. Where is it like this year? Birmingham somewhere? I can't remember where it is this year.
Don't know.
But yes, asks in chat if anybody's going to Tank Fest. If you're going to Tank Fest, let Dad and Dave know. Meet up with them.
They might have donuts.
Yeah, Dad always has donuts. And if he hasn't got donuts, he'll just make you something awesome out of a plastic card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a look. What else are we going on?
It's James Chapman says, anyone seen the Albatross yet?
The what? Anyone seen the Albatross yet? Lol.
Don't know.
I'm failing on that one.
Yeah, I don't understand that one either.
I mean, that is an albatross. That little. Hang on a minute. Let me just maximize my screen, because
it's all blurry.
I suppose you can see.
I wouldn't
like
be able to tell what it was, but
you can kind of see the fuselage shape and then a little wheel at the bottom. So okay, how he knew that was a biplane? It's good eyesight, dude. That's in the dark and it's all the way over there. Wow. I better make sure my credit cards are covered up. Wow.
Sergeant Bone says I should water the biplane so it grows up. No, it's just the right size. It's fine.
But if you water the biplane, will it not just get more wings?
I don't know. Well, the wings just get bigger. There is triplanes, aren't there? There's no quad planes, though, is there?
And there might be. I'm sure the Russians at some point built a plane with like 35 wings.
I remember seeing that on the old reels, like planes with like 20 wings, because it makes it fly better, and it didn't take off.
Yeah. I'm sure the Russians probably still made that up to about 1978, just because Russians.
As Ted says, don't forget any questions to him at ted@emodels.co.uk.
Yep.
He obviously hasn't got any yet, and he's feeling a bit left out.
Yes, we haven't had any 3 from him. James Chapman explains it was a song. It's called I'm an Albatross.
Okay.
There you go. Let's have a look. Jamie Bone says he would like to go. I don't know if he means Tank Fest or T-Models, but I will be going to Mass Yeovilton Air Day instead. Spid says to Dave about Tank Fest, will there be any planes there?
I don't know. Sometimes there are these strange things. They have max up things of different stuff, don't they? So
you never know.
It wouldn't surprise me.
You never know. Let's have a look. Tank Fest is at Bovington Tank Museum. Oh, yes. I knew it was somewhere. Damn Ducks Bovington has sent a question to Ted.
Woo.
We will expect a the question to come through.
We have to check. I haven't got it yet.
Smir asked a question. He says, question, has anyone seen or tried the new Steinal Res Metallizer paints?
No, I've neither seen nor tried, no.
No, I've seen something about them, but I haven't actually tried them yet. Has anybody in chat tried them yet? How did you get on? I can imagine, given the fact that Steinal Res or UMP, Ultimate Primer / Ammo One-Shot, is such a good primer, I can expect the metallic paints to be quite good. And I would guess they're probably going to come through UMP and Ammo as well. So,
yeah, I've just got an email, but it's not from Ted. It's rubbish. We won't worry about it.
Is that the guy chasing the money again?
No.
You've not paid him yet?
He'll go away eventually, won't he? Yeah. Yes, when we go to eModels on Friday, my intention is to pick up my next build kit. for eModels.
Oh yes.
And as yet, I haven't decided on one yet. You have, or some of you have been sending in suggestions to ted@emodels.co.uk. Please continue to do that, because I haven't decided yet, and until tomorrow I don't need to decide really. I have got some of the suggestions that have come in so far, which
what have you got so far,
have been gratefully appreciated, but I don't really like any of them.
Don't hold back, say what you feel.
It's not strictly streaking through. There's 2 or 3 of them that I do quite like the look of, but there are reasons that I'm not going to be doing them quite yet. In no particular order, I think it might be in the order they came in from. Glenn has suggested the Revel 1-144 US Navy landing ship medium. And I do like the look of that, but I've already got the German one, which is exactly the same boat, but with a different back bit to it. And this is my personal collection. So I don't want to build 2 of them, and I've already got that one. So no, I won't be doing that one. But good suggestion, because I've already got it, so it must be a great suggestion. Who else have we got down here? John suggested the Dragon 144 X3 Stiletto, which is a little plane, and it looks quite nice. It's quite interesting, but I've just done the plane, so I'll put that in the folder for down the line next time maybe. And same thing goes with Tony Blackwell. Suggested the Concorde, or the Russian version, the Concordsky, which again looks like an interesting build, but it's another plane. I've just done a plane, so again that's in the back burner for later. And the final one that's been suggested is from Mike. I haven't got a surname either. He's got the Mahusiv Revel 172 Flower class Corvette, which probably isn't going to get built until it can forward all the photo edge, etc. But there is a 144 version of it, which is apparently 44 centimeters long and 501 parts.
Ooh, that's quite big then, isn't it?
Yeah, that does look like a really nice kit. And I was looking at it actually last year when we went to Telford. I was looking at it on a stall there and looking at it and thinking, oh, that's a really nice kit. But it's such a nice kit that I'd like to build it for me. So again, it's not one that I want to build and have to give away. So I'm sure I'll be picking that one up for myself at some point. So
if only I had that mentality when I was doing that Eagle Transporter.
Yeah, I like the building. The building is fun, but there are some kits that you just want to also possess and have.
What do you like about building a kit more than once? I personally, once I've built a kit and learned how to build it, I don't really want to build it again.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's a couple that I mean, like X-Wings. I've done a 144 X-Wing. I've done a big X-Wing, but I'm going to do the other version of the X-Wing. But yeah, for sort of diorama purposes, I did the Hoth diorama that's got 2 of each of the snow speeders and the ATST walkers in it, which they're only tiny and they're quick builds anyway. And I built 2 of each just because I wanted them for the purpose of the diorama. So for that sort of thing, yeah, I mean, I'm obviously building the 2 tugs as well, but I'm doing them both at exactly the same time. So it doesn't feel like building a kit and then building another kit. It's building the 2 kits sort of in parallel. Yeah. So yeah, as you say, once you built it, you built it, haven't you?
Yeah, because you've had
you go back and build it again.
I mean, I built the Revell 172nd 7C U-boat, which is really nice. It's not a bad kit. There's a few lumpy bits here and there, but it makes a nice 3-foot-long U-boat. It's not a bad kit, and I enjoyed it, and it was a good kit to build. And then I got commissioned to build it again, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that because it's for money, so it's fine. But I quickly found out, even if you're being paid to do it, making a kit for the second time is like, unless there's been a big enough gap that you can try different things that you didn't try the first time. I mean, the one thing that worked out nicely for me was it was a couple of years between building mine and building one for somebody else. So I'd learned a few more tips and tricks and techniques, and I got to do those on it. And when I put them side by side, my U-boat that I built 2 years before that I'd been really proud of, I was like, wow, this is garbage compared to this one I've just built now, which is a million times better. Yeah. So I was so unhappy with my original one, I snapped it in half and threw it in the bin. I'm like, yeah, that's just gone.
No, that would have been nice to keep as well. And
no, it really wasn't.
Progressed. That's the other thing. If it's long enough, I've got the Battlestar Galactica Viper downstairs, which was one of the first, or probably the first kit that I built since coming back to building a couple of years ago. And yeah, at some point I would like to do another one of exactly the same kit, and as you say, compare them and contrast them and see if I've actually got any better, which I think I probably have, but you won't know until you try, really.
Yeah, I mean that's luckily when I did my U-boat, my first one, for me it was like I just got back into modeling after 20 years, so I had all the techniques that I knew when I was like 18, which were basically none. But when I built the next one a year or two later, I'd learned so much, like, you know, using enamels and gunk washing and other things and that filters and stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is brilliant. So I kind of looked at my original, and, wow, I can't bear to look at that. So I think, yeah, if you've got new things to try, then I probably wouldn't mind it so much. But not if it was a super complex kit, though. Because I've always said, for me, the fun isn't in the building for me. The fun is in the painting and the weathering when it all comes together. I actually find the building part of the process quite boring for the most part. So the actual building part, if it's a really super complex build, I probably just wouldn't build it again because I wouldn't enjoy that bit.
Ted says, thanks for the questions so far. Keep them coming. He's forwarding them to Foxx.
Yep, I've had.
Keep hearing little beeps going on.
I have had. Let me see what we have.
He does say, don't forget the questions can be about anything. So
yes, they can be about my model making. If you want to ask us questions, you can ask us about bees, about the weather, about cheese, about, I don't know, ladders, pencils, anything you want. Not religion or politics, obviously. That one's a giveaway question. That one's a giveaway question. Okay, so I've got 2 giveaway questions for tonight. I've got 3 now. But yes, if you're not able to see the chat, click on the little YouTube icon. It will take you to the YouTube page where you can join in the chat and ask questions. But if you can't get into that because some devices you won't see the chat, just send an email to ted@emodels.co.uk if you want to ask just a general question, something for us to talk about, and it can be about anything. So do feel free.
Terry at Smooth Workshop does have a question. He says, any feedback on whether eModels sold out of the skeleton foot or the half a horse since you guys aired them?
Oh, I don't know, actually.
They're still in stock. So I don't know. They might have had lots of them.
Yeah, they might have had a massive amount.
I expect they probably had dozens of feet in. Because, you know, why would you not?
Yeah, because I know when we featured them, they would have had a massive run on them, like hundreds and hundreds of people buying them. So they must have had they must have had a whole warehouse just full of feet and horses.
Yep.
How can anyone resist that half horse? Yes.
I haven't looked to see if the half horse is still in stock. I must admit that might be gone.
No. Phil Lewis says, have I grown a goatee? No, I've just shed all the crap down the sides.
Yeah, and Ted answers smooth and says the foot's been running out of the store.
I can't think of a horse one. Never mind. Dear me, that horse. I kind of set a level with the horse, didn't I?
Yeah, it wasn't a high level either. It was
I always set myself very low standards, which I often fail to achieve. But
Joanna Hound's in. She says, question: why are bees dying out? You're the bee expert, so off you
go. Why are bees dying out? It's our fault because of pesticides and chemicals that we spray into the air and pollution. And neonicotinoids, I think, which we put into pesticides, completely mess with the bee's ability to navigate and remember directions. So they fly off to go to a flower and they just don't come back. That's one of the reasons. It's basically our fault. We're doing it because we're using artificial pesticides and chemicals that are harming the bees. And bees are awesome. Bees are great.
I still don't really like them.
Hey?
I don't really like them.
I know bumblebees are great. I like bumblebee. You can't not like bumblebees.
I cannot like anything that flies and stings.
Bumblebees don't sting. Well, the males don't.
They can.
The male drones don't. The females can.
But they do.
The female drones can sting.
Yeah.
Male drones don't have stingers.
No.
We've got some living in the front. We've got like
but you've got to get pretty close before you can find that out, don't you?
Yeah. Well, we get to sit and watch because I love them, so I've got to sit and watch them because we've got like a drop-down kitchen roof, and there's a little wooden board, and the bumblebees have decided to live under there. There's nothing you can do about them. Protected species, you can't move them. So they're living under this bit of the kitchen roof, and it's great because they only have small colonies, but we can just sit in the garden and watch them whizzing around on the heather and all the other plants. It's dead nice. I like bumblebees.
Is it bees that live in an apiary or something? Is it?
Yes.
Why is it not a beery?
A beery. Because that's where you go off the end of Friday night with like 25 quid and you don't want to remember anything for your special beverages. Okay. Is that Ted sending me more questions? Okay, here we go. We have an actual question.
An actual question, right?
I think. Not a quiz question.
Does it have an answer?
Let's find out. Yes, it's a question from Smooth, from Terry. And he says, with the recent hot spell, does anyone add any extra retarder or flow improver to their paint to stop it drying before it hits the model?
Yeah.
Do you use any kind of flow improvers or retarders?
Not really. I've got some airbrush thinner that I've used on occasion, but not very often. I just don't tend to need it. I use the Vallejo Model Air series primarily when I'm airbrushing, and it just seems to work fine just out of the bottle. So,
because I mean, I do a mixture of airbrushing and I do brush painting. I don't tend to use flow improvers or retarders for brush painting because I use a wet palette, and that kind of keeps it going anyway because it keeps it nice and moist, keeps it cool. For airbrushing, I haven't yet used any flow improvers or retarders, but the climate here is not. See, Chris is down south, and down south they're more Mediterranean than we are.
Absolutely, yes.
He's only like 25 miles away in London somewhere. I don't know, thousands of miles away. They get a lot more hot, humid, and dry weather. I'm up north, so we don't tend to get. It doesn't tend to get so hot that paint dries out that fast. It does occasionally, but not so much that I've ever felt the need to add anything. But having said that, I know that flow improvers and retarders are good things to use because it especially if you're painting, say, something that is prone to drying out, like for example white acrylic paints, which are just hell on earth to paint because they tend to dry out more on the nozzle. So adding a retarder to that just a little bit can sometimes help the paint stop drying out quite so fast. And it depends on the paint you're using. You know, some paints won't dry out fast at all. Some brands of paints will dry out faster, like Chris uses the Vallejo Air, and they're thin for airbrush anyway, so they're going to flow just fine. But I've never used them, but I understand why you would use them.
Lots of comments in chat. People do quite like bees, but they'll hate wasps.
Oh yeah, nobody likes wasps. Wasps are just punks. Wasps are punks. Bees are fuzzbutts, but wasps are punks.
Griff MJ is not making models. It's too hot at the moment. He's waiting for it to cool down again. Apparently next week's going to be even hotter.
Ah, that's all right. Alan at Northwest Modeler says, nope, because his man cave is air conditioned. Damn you. I wish this was the kind of, the problem is, it's like, I wish we were the kind of country that had thought about having air conditioning 20 years ago. So now we all had it by default. Because, yeah, it's getting warmer and warmer now. So, yeah. Only good wasp is a dead wasp, says Michael Jackerman. And Spid says that wasps are the football hooligans of the flying bug world.
Yeah, Smooth says last year in the hot spell, he had some issues with powdering using acrylics.
Yeah, it depends on the paint you use. I mean, if you the idea of the flow improver and the retarder are basically, the retarder helps the paint stop drying out. And if you use acrylic paints, and they do dry out faster than most paints. If you use enamels, it's not a problem because they're enamels, they take a while to dry. If you're airbrushing acrylic paints and it's hot and it's dry, they will dry out, either dry out on the way to the model from the nozzle, if it's really hot and dry, and you get a real powdery finish or rough powdery finish, or they'll just tend to dry out more on the needle tip, and that's when you have to kind of get the cap off and clean it off and put it back on. It's a pain in the bum. So a retarder will help prevent that. And a flow improver is kind of similar, but a flow improver is more like, okay, this is where you need to get into the diluting and thinning thing. And I usually get this the wrong way around. You can thin a paint or you can dilute a paint. If you thin a paint, it behaves differently. If you dilute a paint, it behaves the same way, but it's less viscous, it's more fluid. So for example, if I'm painting with a water base, if I'm painting with, say, inks, so I'm putting a shade layer on a model with inks by brush, I can either thin the ink with water, or, this is where I get it the wrong way around, I can thin the ink with water, or I can dilute it with a glaze medium. Glaze medium is basically acrylic paint without any color in it. If you apply an ink with water and you're just thinning it, then when you brush it on, it can dry patchy, it can dry grainy and bitty. If you thin it with a glaze medium, which is just paint with no color in it, you're just diluting it. You're putting more paint in but you're not increasing the amount of pigment, so you're just making the pigment more spread out. It will still behave exactly the same way. It'll just be less denser color. And basically the trick is that if you're diluting the paint with some kind of medium, like colorless paint, it's still going to behave the same way because you're not breaking down all the acrylic binders in the paint. If you just thin with water, you get to a certain tipping point. It might be fine, but you get to a certain tipping point, and then all the acrylic sort of, the cellular structure, kind of the molecular structure, breaks down a little bit. It doesn't dry the same way. So a flow improver is kind of similar. It kind of dilutes the paint rather than thins it. It just means it helps it flow through the airbrush. It's less prone to clogging. And if you combine that with a retarder so it stays liquid longer, it can be really good. So if it is hot and dry, somebody knocking at our front door. I don't understand that. Yeah, if it is really hot and dry, or you're having any problems with paint spluttering, then that is a good thing to do. I've never used them myself, but I've never had to. But I know if I got a paint, especially white acrylic, and I was using that, then yeah, and it was doing it all the time, because white does that all the time. Whatever brand you're using, I probably will put like a bit of a flow improver in there just to stop it doing that quite so much.
Tony Blackwell says he likes wasps.
No, you're weird.
And Andy Butcher says even wasps hate wasps.
Yeah, Tony's banned. You can't like wasps.
Yeah, it's not right, is it? If a Spit says if a furrier deals in fur, why doesn't a courier deal in curry?
I like that one. Somebody's just knocking at our front door, but there's no postman this time of night.
I wouldn't have thought so.
No, well, I've not been called.
Not another lost pet, is it?
No, I don't know. Not been called to the front door. Let's have a look. Girlfriend says, "Don't wave your arms about and it will go away." This one had a bat. What are we talking about there?
Oh, wasps. Wasps are still. Yeah.
Oh yes. GB's Model Zone says, "Damn, just lost me wheel nuts." I think the carpet monsters had them.
Speed says, but Fox, if you thin it, how many thin coats do we use?
2.
More than one, says Sergeant Bone.
More than one, but less than 3. Paul says, "Jar Jar Graham." I hope not.
Oh, now I got it. No. Ted says, does anyone else put their model building on hold during the summer? So yeah,
I tend to struggle a bit during the winter, especially if I'm doing anything that needs rattle can work, because of course I can't rattle can in the wet, cold, damp winter. So in the summer, I tend to try and stack up on things where I'm going to need to use a rattle can. Anything where I need to do it, like, because I use Humbrol 49 rattle can matte varnish because it just works perfectly for me. I do struggle a bit in the winter, so I try and stack up as much as I can during the summer. But then I just sit there and sweat.
Paul says it's like Noel's house party with your doorbell going off.
Oh, does that mean Mr. Blobby's just turned up? Does anyone like Hornets, says Joanna Hammond. I don't think so.
Damn Ducks Bobbington says pizza. I don't know if that means that they've got pizza or they think that's what might be delivered to your door.
Could be. Spid says, when I said how many thin coats, I said 2. He said, yes, all hail Duncan, charge everything. Yes. He knows what that's about. Right, okay. Do we have any other questions? So thank you for that question, Terry. It's a good question.
Terry says he got stung on the throat by a dying wasp 7 times when he was younger.
Yeah.
By the way, they don't die in a microwave. Don't ask.
I'm not going to ask about that. Terry, I'm asking now. I'm not asking.
They say that wasps don't die when they sting you, but if anyone sting me, they bloody die.
Yeah. Yeah. There's more difference between wasps and bees. Wasps can pull their stinger back out again because they're smooth. Bees have a barbed stinger, so once it's in there, it's in there.
Apparently that was a myth and a lie, and there's only one type of bee that does that, and other types of wasps do that as well, or something.
Yeah. I may have to do some research.
One of these urban myth things.
Smooth says in response to Ted's question about anybody put stuff on pause in the summer, building no, painting yes.
Yeah, the heat can actually help the glue dry quicker.
Yeah, paint dry quicker.
Yeah, sometimes too quick.
I build models all year. We have heating and air conditioning, says George Taylor. Yeah, I mean, I build models all year. It's just sometimes I want to do rattle can stuff, and that's when you need to go outside. So if it's in the autumn or winter, I have to kind of, if I've got to the point where I need to matte varnish something, I'll have to put that on hold and wait for a day when it's not particularly cold, but not raining and not particularly damp. I mean, some people have had problems with the Humbrol 49, but I've never had an issue with it, and it's quite tolerant to heat and cold. So Just make sure it's not a super hot, boiling dry day and not a super wet, cold, damp day. So I'll put things on hold then, just until I'll be like with my nose pressed against the window, like, can I go out yet? Can I go out yet? No. Oh.
Paul says wasps are probably smaller than the wavelength of the microwave, so they can fit between them. True.
And knowing wasps, the little devils that they are, they probably see the microwave, so they can just sit there in the middle going, ha ha. It's not going to get me.
Smooth says, my mum used to take an empty jam jar, fill it with water to trap them. You put it in the microwave and it didn't die. Surely they would if they're in boiling water.
Yeah, or they'll just drown in the water. Here at eModels, we do not condone the harming of any animals, even wasps.
And Michael Jackman says he prefers this time of year to build because the daylight lasts a long time.
Yeah, there is that. Plus, if it's a nice day, and I can't recommend this enough to people because I tried it last year and it's brilliant. If it's a nice day and you've got some like little miniatures or anything you can brush paint, little things you can brush paint, like my little Warhammer miniatures, stuff like that, it's really nice on a not too hot day, but on a nice day, just to sit in the garden, get your paints ready, get some watering going, get your wet palette, and just sit in the garden on a nice day and just do a little bit of brush painting. It's actually quite relaxing because you can hear all the sounds of nature and all the creatures and a bit of warmth. It's quite nice.
As long as you don't get little creatures landing on the paint you've just painted.
No, there is in my cabinet behind me, there's a Fine Molds Y-Wing. And if you look very carefully on the base, there's tiny, tiny footprints from some kind of flying creature that walked across it and flew off again because I rattle canned it outside and then left it outside for 10 minutes and some little thing landed and walked across it. I'm like, I'm leaving those in.
How do you know it's a little flying thing if it's got footprints?
Because they sort of start halfway and then they just appear from nowhere. Osric 9000 says spiders are nice. I don't mind spiders too much. I don't want them in my room or in my house. I'll throw them out. I quite like I don't like house spiders. Let's just leave it at that.
Zadster says, evening all. Sorry I'm late. I've got a note from my mum though.
Yes. Zadster is to blame for one of the what's in store items tonight. Because he suggested it last week. So
Ted says it's tempting to be at a barbecue in an evening rather than be at the bench.
Yeah. And
this is why his move's taking so long, I think.
Yeah. And at the barbecue means with gin. We know what you mean, Ted.
It's not dangerous having gin too close to a barbecue, is it?
Don't know. After about 4 gins, he probably doesn't mind. Don't put wasps in the teleporter when you go through it, says Ian Bottomley.
Yeah, that'd be a strange film, wouldn't it?
Why is it, says Damn Ducks, that spiders only run over your feet when you're not wearing socks? How do you know? Maybe they do when you are, but you just don't notice.
Yeah.
Maybe your feet are covered in spiders and you just don't realise.
All the time. Don't look now. No.
Yeah. George Taylor says, nothing worse than walking through a huge spider web. Many years ago, I was walking, when I was building my big 3-foot-long U-boat, I went out in the garden I think I was doing some rattle can priming or something. I walked out in the garden to go and do it. And we've got a little pathway between the kitchen and the garden. And we call it Spider Alley because all the big fat garden spiders, the diadem spiders, make all the webs across this little pathway. I don't mind garden spiders. They're kind of awesome to watch. But I forgot, and I walked through this gate and walked through a spider web with this big, very delicate 3-foot-long U-boat in my hand, and then commenced to instinctively start to do the Kermit flail where you go like this to try and get any spiders off you with that. And my brain's going, just stop. There's a big, massive U-boat in your hand, and somebody's commissioned you to build it. You don't want to break it. I'm like, oh! So I was telling one of my friends who lives in Australia, and she said, yeah, you should try that with one of the giant orb weave, what is it, the sort of gold orb weaver spiders that they have in Australia, where it's like walking through spun steel. Then you'll do the Kermit arm flail because those things are like this big.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do that.
I didn't feel so bad next time I walked through a spider web for a garden spider that next time.
Terry says, be a brave spider to run over my feet with no socks on.
Yep. Speedy Curate says, have you noticed how everyone who walks into a spider web becomes an instant martial arts expert? It's true.
Yeah. He also said earlier that house spiders are so outdated. Spiders are into rat instead of house these days.
Yes. Dave Wiseman-Gumbarker says, question. Just had a paper 1-to-1 scale bolter from the Alien films. Has anybody built a paper kit and any advice on the glue to use?
No. Paper kit?
Yeah, paper kits and pepper curry. You can just use PVA. But you can get like, paper glues and card glues from art shops. They do sell such things. Pritt stick, probably not, because it's a bit...
Yeah, it's not really permanent enough, is it?
Not really permanent. But you can get specific paper and card glues from art shops. They sell that. But paper kits are quite good. I've got on my PC a paper kit for a UNSC Pelican from Halo. Ooh. I've had on my PC for about 7 years because I've not got a printer. I must send it to someone at some point and get it printed out. But yeah, paper, PVA glue.
Griff MJ says he likes boob bees.
He likes what?
Boob bees. They're the best kind of bees.
Boobies?
Boobies. Yeah.
A friend of mine has a jar of Boo Honey. It comes with a label from Boobies. Oh. I see what he did there.
That took far too long.
Yes, I'm not awake yet. I'm not awake yet. Let's have a look.
PVA for paper kits.
Yeah. PVA glue, I mean, I've always said many times in a lot of my videos and elsewhere, every model maker should have PVA in their stash of glues. It has limited uses, but it is a really nice glue. If you want a glue that dries clear and does have a good grip to it, it's not like a kind of rubbish that's going to fall apart. You can pull things apart. It's not a permanent glue. If you glue two things together, you can pull them apart again and peel the glue off. So, but it's a good glue to have because it is clear. It's a good temporary glue. When I mount a little figure onto a cocktail stick to paint him, and I want to pull that stick out and mount him onto a cork and then pull it out and stick him on his base, I'll drill a little hole and use PVA glue so I can pull the stick out when I've finished. But it's got a nice grip to it, so everybody should have PVA in their collection of glues.
Yep. People are saying that it does take a while to dry though, so you've got to be patient with it.
Yeah, 24 hours. Take quite a while. Let's have a look. Smooth says it's Elmer's glue for Americans. Yes, it's known as Elmer's glue in the US for our American cousins, or white glue. What's the glue they used to use on Blue Peter, says Tony Blackwell? That was PVA, white glue. The stuff you used to put on your hands at school and peel it off. PVA glue. Let's have a look. I was stung by a wasp at work, £4.20 for a jar of honey. This is David Barker. Cool. Right, we've got any more questions come through? Let's have a look and see. Don't forget, if you want to send us a question, put it in chat in big fat capital letters. Hit the super chat button. Button even at the bottom of the chat if you want to do it in a big colour box. Or if you can't get into the chat, just send an email to ted@emodels.co.uk. See if we've got any more come through from Tedworth.
No, you did it wrong. It's .co.uk.
It's Ted. Ted from eModels.
You said .co.uk. It's not the same. You have to have the it's got to work.
See, I like the way when Ted does it, he goes, it's Ted. Ted from eModels. eModels.co.uk. The whole unfolding. It's like being announced at an event, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all the actual question we've got. We've got some giveaway questions. So we'll keep those for later.
Ted says, did anyone ever build anything from Blue Peter?
Nope.
Don't think so. I do remember him building lots of stuff and probably thinking, oh, yeah, that's a good idea, I'll do that, and then forgetting by the time the show finished.
I did find a Blue Peter badge in a drawer. That I guess one of my brothers won it for something when I was very little, but I don't know what it was for. Blue Peter. I used to watch Blue Peter. I didn't like it after a while. I got old enough and it was like, yeah, I don't want to watch that now.
I saw something about Blue Peter? No, it's Newsround. I saw a Newsround fairly recently and it's rubbish. It's not like it used to be.
Let's have a look and see what we got. My brothers and I built a few things, but we could never find sticky-backed plastic. Copydex glue was the stuff they used. Oh, okay, Copydex glue.
Oh, right. Paul says, don't worry, Dave. I got the joke even if they didn't. I did get the joke. It just wasn't very funny, Dave. So.
I didn't get it at all. I'm not on form tonight. Trying to remember wasp sting, alkaline, put vinegar on it, acid, sting from bee. Is it baking soda? That's super glue. I don't
know. How do you catch the wasp?
I don't know. Yeah. I just put honey on everything. That'll do.
Honey is a great medicinal thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Blue Peter was rubbish after John Noakes left. Yeah, it kind of got to the early 80s and became a bit pants.
I did see a video of John Noakes climbing Trafalgar's Nelson's column.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was just really scary. It's like even the bit at the top where the ladder actually goes the wrong way and he's got to climb up, and there's no safety harness or nets or anything. It's
1970s, didn't have such stuff like that. Yeah, those are the good days.
But nobody mentioned the cameraman that went up there with the camera as well.
Yeah. Shep. Let's not forget Shep.
Shep didn't go up in the... No.
No, he didn't come to town. Speedy Curate says, I have vague memories of bugging my parents for packets of bottles or something to make one of the things they show, but I don't recall what it now. It's been a year or two.
Yeah, it was probably
Yogurt
a
pots.
fairy liquid container to make a space rocket.
Yeah. Toilet roll, ping pong balls, and wool, says Phil Lewis.
Empty yogurt pots.
Lord Barkley III did the Blake 7 teleporter bracelet out of an old 2-litre Pepsi bottle.
Mm.
Here's one for you. James Chapman, does anyone listen to or like to play music while modelling as a stress reliever? Mine's either Metallica or Avenged Sevenfold. They're kind of really stressful.
Not exactly stress relieving. Yeah.
But what do you listen to, Chris? What's your musical preferred?
I don't generally play music while I'm modelling. I tend to put an audiobook on. So, you know, something fantasy novel sort of thing, just to be background noise. My current jam, I'm listening to the Dresden Files, Harry Dresden, modern day wizard in Chicago.
Okay, cool.
Very good. There's a series of about 17 or 18 books at the moment. I think I'm on about 15 for the second time.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally I listen to music, but I have a really weird music taste. It's like, it'll be like Mike Oldfield's Amarok, or it might be the Brandenburg Concertos, or it could be some Wendy Carlos, or it could be some soundtracks. So it could be a million different things. But I have a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just get like podcasts to listen to and things like that. But you saying audiobooks, I might have to investigate some of the Warhammer audiobooks, give them a try, because they're supposed to be quite good.
Yeah, well,
didn't listen to.
Didn't know there was such a thing.
When I've run out of podcasts to listen to, I just find I go onto YouTube and just find like 2-hour-long talks by, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson or somebody along those lines, some kind of interesting scientific things to, and just have them playing in the background because it's fascinating to listen to.
Oh, you mean like a TED Talk?
Yeah, TED Talk, but not TED.
You get TED Talk, yeah.
Well, not a TED Talk, but yeah.
You just phone him up and get him to talk.
Yeah, anything like that where they're just, it's like 2.5 hours long and it's just a talk. And I'll listen to that in the background. Yeah, it's nice to have something in the background. Because if I'm working in silence, I normally find myself there with a tune in my head anyway, so I might as well have that tune in the background.
George Taylor says, I watch you guys when modelling. And Spid says, I tried playing music while building, but balancing the guitar whilst holding the gluing is hard.
Yeah. Zasta says, the YSDC Call of Cthulhu game podcasts are great. I like Giant Bomb. I love Giant Bomb. That's my podcast of choice.
Yeah,
I used to love Tested's podcast, but then Will left and it became not as interesting.
Not the same, yeah. Andy Butcher says the Dresden books are good fun.
Got another question, but is it a stickers a question or a... Okay, we've actually got like 1 million questions now to give stickers away, so that's good.
Yay.
I think Mike Mountain and Dave talking about Sally James again because it's all just descended into chaos down there.
Yeah,
Sally James is mine, hands off.
Stuff to reading, which is not great for people watching. Sorry.
LD says, thank God for filth. I assume he means Starship filth. Was unhappy with some silver dry brushing. Today I put some filth on some kitchen roll and buffed it over, and it saved the kit. I was going to scrap it. I assume he means Starship filth.
Must do, yeah. There isn't any other type.
MiG 502 Abteilung Starship filth is a wonderful colour.
Yep.
Add it to your collection.
It doesn't only used to be on Starship. You use it on anything.
Yep. It's a great dirtying up colour for gunk washes and things like that.
Tony Blackwell says there was a TV series of the Dresden Files. Yeah, I never actually watched it. That was way back when. But I've heard of it. And a bloke from the Modern Arrow TV show is Dresden in it. But yeah, I'll keep meaning to track it down and find some, but I haven't found it yet.
I think Michael Jacobman's about to become the most awesome guy in the entire chat because he says, am I the only one in this chat who's actually met Sally James?
You can't leave it like that. You need the full story.
Yeah, for at least, if not for, you know, Mike Mountain and Dave Weiser and Gun Barker, because they'll be chasing you up for information on that. Lord Barkley III to me, best way to copy some model parts for kit bashing. Now, I've never tried it, but I know there's loads of different ways you can make molds of the parts, but the simplest one I've ever seen is to make a mold out of Lego, like a little wall, and use that as the mold to fill it with the whatever you're using to make the mold of, place the part on the top, build the wall up again and put the second half on, but put some stuff in the middle. Like I can't remember what they use now. It might be Vaseline or something to go between them, the mold release agent. But I can't remember what people tend to use. I've never done it, and I'm not an expert on it. But it can be quite easy. If anybody's tried it in chat, let him know. You haven't tried it, have you, Chris?
No, I've not tried any of that. Sounds complicated.
Yes. Do YouTube it though, because there'll be loads of little guys, and it can be quite simple. Just Lego and whatever you're using to make the mold.
Yeah. Griff MJ says he met Chris Tarrant, and Phil East says I met Jim Bowen at Butlins. So who's the most famous person that you've ever met?
Me.
Well, everybody, but yeah.
Well, who's the most famous person you've met?
I met Paul Daniels. That's probably fairly famous, but it springs to mind. And on Friday, I'll be meeting the model making guru himself, Foxx.
Oh, shut up! Stop. Have I met anybody famous? I've met the guy that played the postman in Cheers. I've said that story before. I can't remember his name or the character's name. I've met Ron Dennis. I think yes, I've met Ron Dennis. I have met anybody else.
Oh, Tony Blackwell says he met Terry Pratchett several times. Yeah, I met Terry Pratchett. I'd have got a book signed by him.
Oh, I wish I could have met Terry Pratchett.
It wasn't a social engagement. It was a book
signing.
No, I
know, but it would have been nice just to have us,
Yeah.
Terry Pratchett's a hero of mine.
Yeah, I've got a signed book by him. Can't remember which one now. The one with the golem. The big feet of clay.
I've not read many of them for so long. I need to go back. I've got a big stash of the books. I need to go back and read them all. I've not read a book for so long. Let's just be honest.
Paul says he's met me lots of times.
Hooray. I met the guy that draws Beryl the Peril and Minnie the Minx and stuff, but I've said that before on the show as well. So.
Terry says Little and Large. Sid Little was cool. Eddie Large was arrogant and impatient.
I met Sylvester McCoy. See, I got an advantage because my dad worked at Granada as a cameraman, so I kind of got to go with him to work sometimes and hang out.
My dad's uncle used to run the props department at BBC, the proper BBC Studios.
Oh yeah,
thing, and we did a little tour around that, sort of seeing it all. So I've met the Mastermind chair and the toys off of Play School, but it's not really people.
I went around the Granada props department once. All I remember is like a 12-foot long goose that was hung up on the ceiling of the prop room, like just suspended out the way. It was like a big 12-foot long goose with a massive. I was like, I can't imagine that being more than a single-use prop, but they've got it.
Well, you never know when you're going to need it again, so
that's true.
Skipper Ted says he met Prince Andrew met me. He said,
"Okay, yeah, that works."
So yeah,
Gerwin Moores met Matt Irvine. Phil Kett met. I can't speak. Phil Kett met Fish from Marillion.
All right. Timber met David Niven. Simon D. Prince Philip.
Timber also met. His wife met Debbie Harry in Tesco's Birmingham. Oh, I met. I went to my local hobbycraft store to pick up some PVA glue, actually, and I was in front of me in the queue was the woman that plays Sally in Coronation Street, who was there buying some stuff for her daughter's birthday party. And she started having a good natter and we were talking away about, are you an artist? I went, no, I'm doing model. All right, she was talking away for like 20 minutes. Didn't she was.
James Chapman says he met all the gladiators, shook Wolf's hand and was on TV as well. I've met one of the gladiators, the Panther, the gladiator, actually opened a gym fairly local around here. So I met her, yeah.
Gladiator ready. I'm sorry, but Ickle Pete's taken the championship now because he once met Professor Heinz Wolf. So that's just best. You can only beat that by meeting Neil deGrasse Tyson, really. I think.
I don't know if I ever met him, but he used to work at Brunel, which is quite close to me.
No,
university, so I probably bumped into him at some point.
Dave met the Queen, but he was at attention with eyes front as she walked past.
Oh, Michael Brown's met Mark Howell and Carrie Fisher.
It doesn't count if you meet them at like a event where you're going to meet them. That doesn't count.
Yes, it does.
Does it? No, because then they're just meeting millions of people. It's not like
you don't have to just meet them in the chip shop.
You might do. Mark Hamill gets his fish and chips from.
Terry Pratchett works at a book signing, so
okay, well, all right. Well, okay, we'll let that.
I'll let it go. I'll let it slide. Terry Pratchett and David Prowse at signings.
Yeah, Smooth bumped into. Words. I'm trying to read the camera and read the text and look at the camera. Smooth Workshop says, I bump into Susan Boyle all the time. I live in her hometown, lol.
Tony Blackwell says, I once stood next to him at a urinal. I didn't look, but I missed the first comment as to who we're talking about. So,
yes. I once stood next to a well-known, how can I put this? Potentially well-known 15, 20 years ago musician at a urinal. I did look and it wasn't that impressive. I shall mention no names. AD Math says he met Barnes Wallace's secretary. Cool.
Right. Paul says, I met Heinz Wolf walking down the road once. See, it's local. Michael Jackerman says, right, there's Ackle Bilk, Alan Freeman, and Jim Davidson many times, David Hamilton and Sadie James, among others. Oh, and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
What, Earth, Wind, and Fire?
All three of them, yep.
Tony Blackwell says Terry Pratchett at the urinal. His teaming Paul's grand once met Dennis Nielsen. Right. Pete Rogers was fireman at Windsor Castle, so he met most of the royals. And James Chapman also met Charlie from EastEnders, but can't remember the actor's name.
I don't watch EastEnders, so I don't no idea who that was.
Cool. So most people have met somebody famous.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
Yeah. Right. Well, we haven't got any more questions come through, apart from giveaway questions. So, should we have a look at what's in store? Or should we? You decide. You decide.
Can we do a sticker and then we can do what's in store and then we can do a mug?
Yeah, go on then. Have you got any stickers? Have you got any stickers there?
I've got some stickers here. Look.
Have you?
I have a collection of stickers.
Oh, my mum.
Ready?
Fox's mum.
Fox's
mum. Just shouting up that she knew like everybody in Coronation Street and John Thord because they used to work in TV. So my parents were best mates with John Thord. Things like that.
Hello, Mum.
Everybody saying hello, Mum.
Hello.
Yes, my mum used to know like everybody. So
I noticed your mum didn't come on camera today.
No, she's allergic to the camera now. She knows it's got a wider field. She's like, oh, I'm not even coming in the door now. She'll just get like an even longer duster to attack me with.
Yes, I have some stickers. So
Andy Butcher's off.
Good to go with
gotta
stickers.
go. Have fun, everyone, says Andy Butcher. Thanks for coming, Andy.
Bye.
Right, yes, stickerage.
Yep. You have a question.
Oh, right. You're waiting for me. Okay. Right. Okay.
Because you've got the question, so it makes more sense for you to read it out.
So I've got a question from Google Analytics. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. So as always, what we'll do is we'll ask a question to the people in chat. If you're watching and you haven't got access to the chat, hit the little YouTube icon down here in the bottom corner. That will take you to the YouTube page where you can join in the live chat. If you can't see it at all, you might be on a device of some sort, but if you can, join the live chat. I will ask a question. I will say go, and then everybody in the chat can put their answer. And what we'll do is the first person to get the right answer will win whatever the prize will be, the sticker or the mug. Before we do any of that, though, everybody hit refresh on your browser right now. Do it now. Do it now. Because you often find there's a lag between the video and the chat after about an hour or so. So hit it now. Hit your refresh button now. Do it.
Yeah, no, I think one of them still hasn't. Yeah, it's right there now.
Right, have you all refreshed? Good. Right, let's find a question. I'll do the first question I've got is one that Scott from Orkney sent me earlier in the week. And I'm doing this one because it's about puffins. So, of course, I'm going to ask this one. So, everybody ready? Remember, don't answer till I say go. The question is, what is the Orcadian name for puffins? So, what do people in Orkney call puffins? Go.
Ooh.
Scott, you can't enter because you're obviously in Orkney. See if anybody can get this. Did you? Oh, bam! Straight away, Smoo is in there with Tammy Norrie.
Ah.
So well done, Smoo. You got yourself an sticker.
Yay!
Well done. Tammy Norrie. Yes.
Lots of answers there. Peanuts, Tasties, Dinner, Vermin.
Tasties. I like that. Oh, I forgot to put Odo out, didn't I?
Oh no!
Sorry, Odo. I forgot to give you a place in the sun.
He does look a little bit pale.
Well, he's got to work on it. Well done, Smee. As always, we've got it anyway, but pop an email to ted@emodels.co.uk just as a reminder that you need a sticker sending out. because we've already got your name and address, but send an email anyway.
Sadster says anything they like because puffins can't understand you. I bet they can.
Sergeant Bowen says poppets. Is that toffee poppets or? So yeah, they're called Tammy Norries in Orkney. So there you go.
Why don't they just call them puffins? It's easier.
They probably called them something before we called them puffins.
Is it like the Latin names puffin or something, or is that something else?
The Latin is probably something or other fuzz, but I think I don't know.
No.
Yes, Speedy Curate and Adam Clark both say porg.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, when they filmed whatever that latest Star Wars film was, The Last Jedi or whatever it was, when they filmed on that little island, they had puffins everywhere. But instead of trying to edit them out, which would have been an enormous pain in the bum, they just replaced them with porgs. That's where porgs came from. There were puffins everywhere, and they couldn't just edit them all out. So.
Michael Jackman says that he hopes Ted gave him the list this week. No, it was all Fox's fault this week. What's in store?
Oh, yes.
I step away and wash my hands of what's in store this week.
Yes, I am in charge. I had the choice. Puffins are actually classed as fish by the Catholic Church.
Yeah, that's so they can eat them on Fridays or something.
But they're birds. That's a bit of a stretch, even for the Catholic Church. I mean, come on. I don't know. Yeah, so I have control of the buttons tonight. But I'll tell you now, I've been quite sensible. Thank God Foxx is in charge, says Sergeant Bowes. But Michael Jackson says, "Oh no!"
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. I think we should have an online poll.
Yes, how
who gets to do what's in store next week?
Yes, right. So I shall press some buttons. And what I decided for this week was, rather than think of a theme, what I would do is, there's a lot of people out there that want to get into airbrushing. Never tried it before, and they're just getting started out. So I thought I'd put together some stuff from the store that might be good for somebody who's just starting out. Now, you need to keep in mind, it's quite a bit of stuff. You can't just spend 50 quid and get like a compressor and an airbrush and all the stuff you need. But I've tried to keep it as straightforward as possible, give you some good options. But if you are thinking about getting into airbrushing and you've never tried it before, give it a try. It's good. Takes a bit of an investment to get going, but once you're in, you're in. So let me just press the magic screen share button and we shall go. So I thought I would start off with... Is that on screen? Are you seeing it?
Oh, I'm seeing it, but you know.
Yes. Can everybody else know it's not locked on me, is it? There we go. Right. So I thought I'd start off with the Vallejo Model Air Basic Colors and Airbrush set. You may as well start off with a nice little package that contains a few different things you'll need. Obviously, you're going to need an airbrush. And obviously, you're going to need some paints. Now, I've always said the learning curve for airbrushes is short but steep, so it doesn't take long to get used to it, but it's a lot to learn. And it's always worth, if there's anything that can make your life easier when you're trying to learn airbrush, can take the thinking out of it, because it's a little bit scary, but not hard. Then one of the things would be, why not just use a paint that's already mixed for airbrush rather than try and worry about mixing ratios? Now, a lot of people will get very specific about mixing ratios of paints. You must use this much paint and this much thinner and this percentage of thinner to paint. Ignore all that. It's nonsense. Your paint wants to be the consistency of skim milk, because this 20%, 50%, 70% thing, it varies from paint to paint and color to color. So there's no point even worrying about that. Make sure your paint is as thin as skim milk. But the Vallejo Model Air range are actually designed to just be straight away sprayable without worrying about having to thin them. You might have to thin one or two of them a little tiny bit, maybe a few drops, but most of them you can just spray them as they are. So this set comes with the 26 base Vallejo Model Air colors. If I can get it to scroll, I'm trying to scroll on this screen. It's the actual screen you guys can see, not my screen. So you've got the 29 basic colors from the Model Air range, which are all pre-mixed to be sprayable straight away. You get a bottle of airbrush cleaner, a plastic carry case and liner, hose and attachments, a complete color chart and conversion tables for Model Air. But the bit that sells this package is you actually get Harder and Steenbeck Ultra Gravity Feed Airbrush, which normally is 80 quid. So it's not just like some shonky little kit where you get a really naff airbrush and some paints. You're actually getting Harder and Steenbeck, which are one of the best airbrush manufacturers. You're getting one of their starter brushes. So if you just thinking of getting into it, maybe have a look at this, because it sorts out the paint for you, sorts out your airbrush, you've got your hoses. You don't have to worry about the paints then. So that's done. That's done. By the way, let me know if anybody's asking questions in chat, Chris. Because
Yeah, no, basically, just there was a couple of questions like who makes the airbrush, but then he said, "Oh, it's okay, you just said it."
Yeah, Harder and Steenbeck are awesome airbrushes. They're one of the more premium range of airbrushes, and they can get very expensive. But this is one of their starter brushes, and it's a real good brush to start out on. So next up, we have, let's carry on with this theme of airbrushage. You've got your airbrush, you've got some sweet paints. What you're going to need? You're going to need a compressor. Now, there's a million different things you can do for compressor. You can get compressors with tanks, you can get little ones, you can get ones that just turn on and off. When you're starting out doing airbrushing, there's no point buying all the most expensive kit straight away, because you might try it for a week and realize you hate airbrushing, in which case you spent a fortune on all this kit. So start small and work your way up. Don't go in with like the most expensive thing. Don't go buy like a £400 compressor before you've even ever held an airbrush. Now, some of the best compressors around you might get from people like Spraymax. I always get them mixed wrong. Any water, who are basically the same thing, just different. They're made in the same factory. And this is a Water Studio Series Ninja Jet compressor. It's really small, it's really quiet, and it's just designed to work with really people working indoors. Like if you're working at home, you could buy a big industrial compressor, but you're going to annoy everybody else in the house. So you may as well start off small and start off quiet. When you get better, you can start investing in things like compressors with air tanks and things like that. But when you're starting out, you don't have to worry about that. Just start off simple. And this is beautiful little compressor, 134 quid. It'll get you going. It works best with Iwata airbrushes. It will work with any airbrush. It's a low pressure airbrush, so it will work brilliant with a lot of the Iwata, like the Neo and the Revolution and stuff. But it will work fine with other airbrushes as well. And basically, that will get you going. And it's no fuss, no muss. Just plug it in and get going. So that will be quite nice. But again, you don't want to start out buying all the expensive top of the range kit straight away, because you might not enjoy it. Next up, we have something I didn't even know you could get, but something nice and simple. It's an anti-vibration mat for air compressors. If, like me, when I had my plucky little compressor, which was a little tiny thing, I had it on my desk. And what happened was, it was one of those compressors that is on permanently. It doesn't shut off or anything. You just turn it on and it goes constantly. And it was on my desk, which amplified the noise through the floorboards. And if I went downstairs, you could hear it. It was like, wow. So this is just a little absorbent mat. You don't have to get one of these, but it's a funky little thing to get. A little absorbent mat that hopefully deadens the sound of it to people downstairs or in other rooms where it might go through your floorboards, through your table or your table legs. And it also stops it moving around as well. Sometimes I used to have to keep an eye on this compressor because it would vibrate and get towards the edge of the desk. I'd have to push it back and rescue it.
Trying to escape, that's what it was.
Yeah, they do try to get away. So it's kind of, my compressor at the minute is a big thing with an air tank directly on the floor, but I've got a big piece of foam underneath it, just kind of deaden the vibration a little bit. Because even a quiet air compressor will vibrate, and even a quiet compressor is a bit loud. So, and it will go through floorboards and things like that. So it's a bit of a consideration for other people. So that's quite nice. Then next up, we have a spray booth. Ideally, you don't have to get one of these, but ideally, if you're spraying at home or in a house where other people live, you really don't want them to be breathing in all your paint fumes all the time. So it is advisable. Always spray in a well-ventilated area anyway, but if you can get one, get yourself a spray booth. Now, there are lots of different spray booths available. There's another one on eModels on the site here that's like 350 quid, and that's a proper top-of-the-range one. But again, you don't need to start off like that. Just get settled in first. You can always upgrade stuff later. And you'll find this little spray booth here, the Spraycraft Portable Fold-Away Spray Booth, is kind of very similar to ones that all of us use. They're kind of all much of a muchness. It's basically a fan and a filter, a little turntable. It's got an LED light in it, which is quite nice. You don't often get that. And a big sucky tube at the back that can go out your window. And I'll just see if it says. A lot of these will have a hose on the back that's standard washing machine kind of size. Ventilation hose for extracting vapor and mist whilst airbrushing. Small motor with powerful airflow. High density filter. Revolving turntable, 3-way switch for fan and light control, and a 2.5 meter retractable ventilation hose and retractable main lead. So it's 7 foot of tube, of expanded tube, so you can plonk that out the window. Or if you happen to have one of those houses that's already got like an air vent on the wall, you can just lock it into there. You will really find the benefit of a spray booth though, because it keeps all the fumes away. and it stops everybody else having to suffer your paint fumes. You can see there, let's have a look at these pictures. The instructions how to do it. They're all kind of very, very similar. There's only a small handful of designs, and what you find is, if you look at most people who do, say, YouTube, like me and Chris and others and Ted, we'll all have the same spray booth, exactly the same spray booth, because there's just a generic spray booth that you can find everywhere, and this is pretty similar to that.
Yep.
So, yeah, pick yourself up a spray booth, always a winner. Now, I would say get yourself a mask as well, but that's not something eModels stock. So, last of all, we have Sparmax Silver Bullet Moisture Trap. Now, if you're lucky and you want to go all in straight away, you might have a compressor that has a moisture trap built into it. But if you're just starting out, like I've said, and you're not going for all the super expensive prestige stuff, you're starting off with the basic tools, then you might have a little compressor like that Iwata one that doesn't have a moisture trap. What you do is with the moisture trap, that goes between the airbrush and the hose that comes from the compressor. And all it does is it traps any water that's in the air supply. Now, small little tiny compressors, probably not going to be a problem too much, but it can be there because the air gets compressed and then pushed through the hose. It cools, it heats up, it expands, it contracts. You get moisture in your hose. And if you're spraying something and there's moisture in the line, you've ruined your paint job. There's nothing more frustrating. So whatever you're going to airbrush, if your compressor doesn't have a moisture trap, spend the tenner. Get yourself a couple of these. I mean, they'll last for years anyway, but get yourself two just in case.
Terry's asking if it's an inline one.
It is one that is designed for the airbrush to go into it like that.
Yes, so it goes on the airbrush itself rather than onto the compressor. So yeah.
And before I had my compressor that's got a moisture trap on it, I had one of those on my Neo Free Water, and you know what? It's not heavy. You don't notice it. It's basically just a small valve with a 5-micron filter. It's got a little button that you can press to get all the moisture out. And trust me, it'll be a godsend. If you've not got a moisture trap on your compressor, get yourself one of these, because if you don't, you'll think you can't airbrush. And like I said before, there's a lot of hurdles to being comfortable. Airbrushing is not about developing a skill. It's about developing confidence in what you're doing. And if anything goes wrong that you don't understand, you'll think it's your fault, and it's not. So if you want to stop that, always get yourself a moisture trap if there isn't one on your compressor. They're dead lightweight, you won't notice it on there, and it actually makes some airbrushes easier to hold because it gives you like a trigger grip, gives you like a thing to hold on to.
Yeah. Smooth says heat and compressed air equals moisture. Basically, if you're compressing air, you're going to get water somewhere. Yeah. And Spid says this is next to the extractor, this is the best thing you can buy for an airbrush.
Yes. So no matter what kit you've got, if you don't have a trap on your compressor, you need one of these, because all you do is you'll paint 3 or 4 models, be great. Then you'll get your big 500-pound Dora or your 150-pound perfect grade Gunpla or something that you take a lot of pride in. You'll spray it and you'll get water and it will destroy your paint job, and you'll be very sad. And you'll think, I should have spent £9.36 on a moisture trap from eModels when I had the chance. And then last but no not last yet. Next we have one last thing you might want. Is a 2-way airbrush hanger. Yes, it's just something to put your airbrush in. When you're not spraying, you can hang it up and it just mount it, and you can leave it sitting there. So you don't need one of these, but trust me, to be able to put your airbrush down to, like, if you want to refill it while you're in the middle of spraying, holding it, and just get yourself an airbrush hanger. You won't regret it. Now, last of all, and this is Zadster's fault, I couldn't go without the next thing. This is the last thing, and I had to do this because you guys wanted it. You guys wanted this, so there you go. It's the 5 senses. It's a Lindbergh 1-to-1 scale 5 senses touch, smell, hear, sight, taste kit. You can build the eye, you can build the ear and the tongue face area. You can build the schnoz of the smelling, and you can build the skin of touching. And there you go. There's not any description on that, but I mean, how can you not want a 1-to-1 scale reproduction of a nose and how it works? There you go. I had to put it in. I'd love for Pete to say, we've actually sold out of all those 5 senses. Do what you said. So there you go. So there's my silly one for this week.
So Terry says that'll go well with a foot I ordered last week.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can probably build them up into an entire person.
Yeah.
But it is 1-to-1. It's studio scale, 1-to-1 scale. It's just like the used. sense of touch, sense of smell, sense of hearing, sense of sight, sense of taste. And I like the way they actually list them all, just in case you didn't realize that ear was the sense of hearing or the sense of sight. They do miss out. I do wonder how they would have represented umami, seeing as umami is actually a sense.
Is that not a flavour though? Isn't it? That's taste.
Yeah, it's the sense of meaty goodness. It's a savoury sense of savoury, but it is actually a specific sense.
Yeah.
There you go. That's this week's what is in store. So I shall unshare.
Michael Jackman says, I suppose it had to happen. It was going too well.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
it was going to go silly.
Osric 9000 says, please let that be the giveaway. And James Chapman says, does anyone else sense a disturbance?
Yeah. Lord Barkley says, is the nose big enough for an index finger? It's 1-to-1 scale. One would assume. Sergeant Bone says, yes. Damn Ducks Bobbington says, what? Spid says, ha ha ha. Smooth says, any cleaning kits, Fox, about the airbrushing stuff? I can only select like a few things. I'd be here all night if I went through everything. Do have a look on the eModels website. I can only give you a small selection of things. There's a lot of different options of airbrushes and compressors and things. That was just a quick selection of stuff. If you are thinking of getting into airbrushing, do go and have a look on the eModels website. There's actually a whole menu section called airbrushes, and you've got airbrushes, airbrush spares, and airbrush cleaners. So do go and have a look. If you're not sure and you want some advice as to what you think you might need to get, just give the guys at eModels a call. They'll quite happily walk you through, tell them what your budget is and what kind of thing you're looking for, and they'll quite happily walk you through what your options might be. But there's lots of different choice of their airbrushes and compressors and different things. So don't just take my word for those particular products. They are a good starting point, but there's lots of other things on there.
Other products are available.
Yeah, there are some cheaper brushes. There are some, more expensive compressors. There's a spray booth that's 350 quid because it's an absolute top of the range one, and I actually quite want one. I will get one eventually. But there's all kinds of I just tried to give a nice rounded selection there.
Zedster says, if you sell 100, I want one free.
What, the noses and the eyes and the...
If they sell 100 of those on the back of his recommendation.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see if they actually sell any. I would love to know. I say to Pete, do you actually sell any of these? It would be good, because we've said it before, but what we find is we hear back from Pete saying, typically when we show things in the what's in store, they sell, and often they sell out. Oh, if anything, by the way, in that whole thing tickled your fancy and you want any of those things, don't forget, of course, while you're watching, open a new tab, go and grab it now, get it in your basket, and order it. Place the order. We don't know how many of these things everybody at the eModels have in stock, and you might think, I quite fancy that, but they might only have one in stock. So if you go for that and then leave it to the end of the show, somebody else may have come along and ordered it already.
Yeah.
And just because it's in your basket doesn't mean it's yours. So remember, if you want any of those things we've shown, what do we do, Chris?
Slap it in your basket.
Yeah, slap it in your basket and get the order processed. While you're watching, don't go away. Stay here.
I forgot. It's got to be a bit more northern. It's got to be slap it in your basket.
Yeah, none of us can do
not a basket.
Yeah, no, slap it in your basket. I can't do Ted. None of us can do Ted justice.
Ted
not the same without you, Ted.
James Chapman says next week kit will be a digestional system. You never know.
I don't know. Well, it depends what they do, doesn't it? Oh, yes, just been reminded by Ted.
It's the thing that we nearly forgot, that we didn't really forget.
Well, we always forget to mention shout-outs. It's a new thing we do. We do shout-outs. If you have, for example, somebody has a birthday or a wedding or a christening or some kind of event coming up, or you're going to a model show or you're going to an event, anything like that, and you want us to do a shout-out, just drop Ted an email, ted@emodels.co.uk. And we'll do a shout-out, coach party from Runcorn. I think we've had a wedding so far, an engagement, and we had a few birthdays. But we do have a shout-out today that we actually knew about, but nobody mailed in, because today is actually Gavmate from eModels. It's his birthday today. Gavmate, your friend of mine, who many of you may have spoken to if you phoned up eModels. You'll either speak to Gav or James. It's his birthday today. He's years old. So happy birthday, Gav.
Happy birthday.
I've got to sing it, haven't we? Ready?
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Gavmate.
Happy
birthday to you.
Wow, that was passionate.
And many more.
Yes, the power of Facebook reminded us it was your birthday today. So there you go. So happy birthday, Gav. However many years you are, 19, 20 or something. He's hoping you get a good disco out of it. Gav likes his discos. Happy belly button day, Gav, mate, says Smear. Happy birthday, Gav, mate. Everybody's saying happy birthday, basically. Slap it in, says Spid. Smooth says to James Chapman, seems you would need a lot of Dunkelbrunn for the digestive tract one. Damn Ducks Bob Hunter says he'll buy one to scare the kids. Smooth says John and Gav are a good bunch. All the guys at eModels are awesome. There's Gav mate, James mate, John mate, young John mate, Pete mate, obviously. Have we missed anybody out?
I haven't been there. I don't know. I'm going there Friday.
So there you go. So where are we up to? Fox, showing your age. Disco PMSL. No, it's a joke because Gav likes his raves, but he's not 17, so it's kind of taking the mick out of that bit. Anyway, happy birthday, Gav.
Yes.
So, right.
We've got to give away a mug.
Yes. Have you been sent any questions by Ted? Would you like to do a question answer?
No, you got all the questions.
Have I got all of them?
Yep.
Oh.
I just double checked, but I don't think so.
You do one.
No. Oh, wait. No, I've got a suggestion for my next build.
Okay.
Someone has suggested the Western Wessex Commando Mark 1 helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Clark suggested that. So, yeah, it's different than another helicopter. I've done a little helicopter, but I'll put it in the pile for suggestions. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
But no questions.
I thought we might have a different shout out from Ted, but no, we just got that one about Gav. He was just reminding me. Okay, so right, so we have a question. So this is for what we're doing, a mug. The size of that.
Indeed, a mug. Yes.
What was that?
That was my glass of water.
Oh.
It's not really that big, it's just close to the camera.
Oh, you're just really small.
Yeah.
So if you would like your eModels mug, now this isn't the current one, this is the old one. Because they still haven't sent me one yet.
No, we have to have words on Friday.
Gav, James, Pete, John, young John.
A couple of mugs aside.
Ches. God, yeah, pick some up on Friday. If you'd like to win yourself a mug, we'll do the same as we did with the sticker. Just ask you a question and answer. Now, first of all, if you've already got a mug and you don't want another mug, don't answer the question. Just let everybody else have a go. But if you'd like another mug, you are more than welcome to try again. You can have as many mugs as you want. You can win them as many times. So, yep, we're going to do the same again, question answer. So before we do that, I'll need to take it off Chris.
Was it locked on me? What?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Sat there scratching your bum and picking your nose, and it's like,
I won't do that anymore. I'll just sit here quietly and not move.
Yeah. So before we do anything, refresh your page, refresh your browser again. Do it now. I shall give you a second.
While they're doing that, Phil Easter suggested in the chat for me Gunpla, basically.
Oh yeah,
HG or an RG Gunpla, fully painted and weathered.
Yeah, we did talk about that earlier.
That's again the suggestion. I'm gonna have a nose around and see what they got.
Yes.
Right. Speed says there is good suggestion for Chris. There's much 144-ness in the Gunpla world.
Yes. And I would wholeheartedly recommend Gunpla for you. Of course I would. Right. So is everybody refreshed? Right. Okay. Right. So we shall do a question now. This question is from. Who's this from? This is from Stephen Hill Harris. I don't know what your sign-in is, what you're in chatting if you're in class. Stephen Hill Harris in Clarksville, Ohio, USA. G'day. I know. But he asked a question. Now remember, we don't assume these are. We assume these answers are correct. We just take the question answer that you guys sent to us and we assume it's correct. So here is the question for an eModels mug for your coffee, or if you must, tea. Okay, so question. The Royal Air Force was formed on April 1st, 1918. From which two services was it created? Go. From which two services even, was the Royal Air Force created? You can give me either the acronyms or the full names. Acronyms are faster to type. Think of it logically. You're in a competition here. We're straight away in. Bang, there we go. Michael Jackerman says the RNAS and the RFC. Yes, the Royal Flying Corps and the Royal Naval Air Service.
All right. I got the Royal Flying Corps, but I couldn't place the other one.
Yeah, so Michael Jackerman, well done. You have won yourself a Temug.
And mug. Yeah.
You just need to pop an email. And same for the sticker winner earlier on. It's smooth. Send an email to ted@emodels.co.uk with your name and address, and we'll get that on its way to you. And to the question asker, who was, I forgot already, Stephen Hill Harris, send us an email with your name and address, because we haven't got that on here, and we'll send you a sticker for reading your question out. So jolly good. Jolly good. That's that one. So we're giving away and mug.
Indeed.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I knew it was the Royal Flying Corps, but I couldn't remember the RNAS bit.
Jerry Moore says, "Damn it, I give up. Anyone got a new eModels mug for sale?" Funny enough, eModels do.
Yeah. If you go to the eModels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs, you can get a mug on there.
Yep.
Yeah. You never know, Gary. You might win one day.
Yeah.
Right. But I did say, I bet, because I know I think a few people just type the answers out, and it's like, you can just put the acronym if you want. Why does Dave keep saying TOG? TOG. I will take lots of photos of TOG for you, Sarge.
What's TOG? Tank? He's got a tank thing, isn't he? So it's probably a tank.
Don't know what TOG is. I don't know.
And Ted says mugs sold at cost and free postage.
Yes. eModels actually make no money on their mugs. They will sell them to you at exactly the price they paid for them.
Dave says Chris has an old one, but you wouldn't want to drink out of it. No, I use it to keep my spare crocodile clips in, and I did spray some airbrush spray.
So disrespectful.
So it's used. It's well used.
It's so disrespectful of the intellectual property, aren't you? I don't know. Hey, I got a new one, says Michael Jackerman. You did, but we'll need your name and address. Include your phone number as well. If we're sending you a physical thing like a mug, include your phone number as well, just in case, for the posty dude. What else are we going on there then, Chris? What's in chat?
I don't know, stuff about TOGs again still. I think it's Tank Fest.
Oh, okay, TOG is Tank of Most Royal Heritage. Oh, TOG was the acronym for a group of tank designs after World War One.
Okay.
Chris, how dare you disrespect the mub of emopleness, PMSL, says Smooth's Workshop.
It wasn't disrespectful. It was used. Not
the right way, because the only way to use this mug is to put coffee in it.
I don't drink really a lot of hot beverages, so I didn't need a mug for hot beverage using.
It's coffee, or if you...
I'm using another mug here for putting sanding sticks in. So it's,
well, that's acceptable, because that's not an eModels mug.
They get used, but,
Yeah, I don't know. Goin Moore says, Mike Mountain, I'll ask Foxx to forward my email. What?
I don't know. Ted says we'll get new ones on Friday. I think Ted's got a new mug, though, hasn't he? You can't have another one.
Yeah, because they sent Ted a new mug without, even telling me they had new mugs.
Don't you include yourself in the we will get new ones on Friday? You don't need a new mug. One. Unless you lost it in the move.
Yeah.
Or the handle fell off or something.
It's just elitist. I've already got one. Like, yeah. I drink hot chocolate from my eModels mug, says Tony Blackwell. This is acceptable.
Yep.
It's better than tea, trust me. Coffee or hot chocolate, if you must. Although I have to say, somebody sent me, or I was recently sent by Jerry. Was it Jerry? No. Simon Callahan sent me a load of Irish treats, included in which was a box of Barry's tea bags. Just called Barry's tea. And it's like just tea bags. Mum loves them. It's the best. She says the best tea. And she likes her Yorkshire tea. She says this Barry's tea is the best tea she's ever had. So if any of you guys come from Ireland and you know Barry's tea, yeah, Mum loves it. Oh, yeah.
Right. Griff MJ says the Tank Heavy TOG 1 was a prototype British heavy tank produced in the early part of the Second World War. The expectations of battlefields that might end up like those of the First World War.
Oh, awesome. See, these are all the things we know nothing about because we don't know.
Dave says all meet at the TOG on 12 o'clock on Saturday. So I think it's somewhere they're going to meet a tank thingy.
Either it's a specific place or there's just one outside at the museum. There might actually just be, I don't know. I'm guessing now.
Right. That was that. We've given away stuff, haven't we? We've got.
Yeah.
What did we give away last week?
Oh yes, should we do last week's? Somebody asked if I'm going to be doing any more ET hot burny foreign noodle type shows anytime soon. I will be. I've got a big pile of them to do. We sell Barry tea in Tesco, says Lord Berkeley III. Yeah, Mum loves it. Barry tea. Yeah. So yes, let's do last week's winner and this week's winner.
Yeah.
So let me do the screen locking again, locking on me.
Ooh.
And screen sharing. Last week we were giving away the awesome, and yet
the funny looking plane.
Either it's a really weird plane design or it's just really badly painted, and I'm guessing it's probably a really weird plane design. Was the Kovazavod? I didn't practice this time. Kovazavody Prushchev 148 Sukhoi Su-25K Frogfoot-A. And Kovazavody Prushchev is the model maker. I didn't realize that until I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's the company name. So we were giving away this puppy. And we asked you to put down a comment that started off along the lines of "in Mother Russia," or any comment really. And what we did was, before the show, I put this all the comments from last week's video into the random YouTube comment picker, which picks comments from YouTube videos at randomly, and it randomly picked a YouTube comment from that video randomly. And the winner of the random comment pick for last week was comment number. What's that? Was comment number 21, which was, drum roll please if you would, Christopher.
Oh, okay.
Smoo, who put, "in Mother Russia, we have good vodka, yes?" So Smoo, well done. You won yourself the weird plane that makes no sense.
Yay.
That painting.
Funny looking plane time.
So when you mail us for the sticker, tell us you won the kit as well. So yes, just make sure when you put the mail through, put down which kit you've won. It's hashtag 4805, but there's 2 things in store with that number. So make sure it's just put down it's the Sukhoi Su-25 Frogfoot. Because we just send the information to the guys at eModels and then they pick it off the shelf and send it to you. So you need to let them know what you've won. So well done, Smoo.
Yeah, he says, I won something. I don't do planes, but I'll do a video build on it.
You do now. You do now, mate. You do planes.
Yeah.
Now. Right. So what are we giving away this week? This week we are giving away I can't believe we're going to do this. We are giving away Lindbergh's 8:1 scale human tooth. I've never seen a kit with a reverse scale before.
I was going to say, I didn't even notice that the scale was, that's great.
8:1 scale. It's 8 times bigger than a normal human tooth. So we were sitting earlier on and we had various things we were going to give away. And I said, should we just do one of these? He was like, yeah, we've got to do one. We both kind of decided we had to do one. So just for 1 week. So we are doing Lindbergh's 8:1 scale model of the human tooth. What can I tell you about this kit? It's a tooth. There you go. It's 8 times bigger than normal. It's a nice little cutaway model. You see, it's got a hinge and everything. You can open it.
Just like a real tooth.
You could leave it hollowed out and store things in there. Keep your secret treasures in there. Nobody would know.
Just like a real tooth.
Yeah, you could store all your money in there or something.
Oh dear. Smith says you can't handle the tooth.
Oh dear. What was the chat's reaction? Are they all going, oh God?
I don't think it's sunk in yet.
Yep. It says on the box, 8 times life-sized and hinged to show the interior and detail. It's made in America by Americans. And it's anatomically accurate, unassembled kit. And I think it says it's a skill level 2 build. I can't imagine it's too much of a complex build. But if you've always wondered how the best way to airbrush dentine or enamel is, find out. I would recommend perhaps some Halford's Appliance White for the enamel of the tooth. So there we go. So yeah, you knew we were going to do it because Ted might be back next week. We have to go all serious again next week. So yeah, you knew we were going to do that. So this week you can win at the Lindbergh 8:1 human tooth. That's all I can think about to say about it.
Yeah, Dan Bucks Bovington says the tooth, love to do it in camo and weather it.
Yeah, because think about it. You'll never find who else is going to have a model of a tooth in their display cabinet. How awesome would that be? You got tank, plane, Warhammer stuff, monster, tooth. Wait, tooth? You'd be the envy of all your model making friends. You could take it to IPMS and win like the best painted model. You wouldn't. You might do.
There might be a tooth section, in which case you might probably win it.
Yeah. In fact, if you do win this and you're in and you've got like an IPMS near you or a local show, paint it really, really well. Put it in the show and see what happens. See how they react to a giant model of a tooth alongside all the fighter planes and tanks that they have to judge and spanky cars and stuff. So there you go. So if you'd love to win this tooth, I'm sure you would. I can sense them all itching. If you'd like to win this, then it's the same as always. We will pull a winning comment off this video next week. So all you need to do is wait till this show is finished, give it 5 or 10 minutes. Then this will just be a video on the YouTube channel. Put a comment on this video when it's a normal video. And Chris, I'll let you choose what they should put.
Well, it'll have to be what you say at the dentist when he's got his fingers in your mouth, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So what does it sound like when he asks you how were your holidays? And
yeah. So there you go then. So write down what it sounds like when the dentist is asking you questions that you clearly can't answer. Although they do seem to know what you say.
I understand. I think they must go.
When you went nice for holiday? Oh, Tenerife, brilliant. Was it? How did you?
I think it's a special course in dentist school.
Well, unless they have an implant in their eyes that gives them subtitles, I don't know. So there you go. So put down a comment on this week's video once this live stream is finished. It's all rendered, saying what it sounds like when you're being interrogated by the dentist and you can't possibly answer. So there you go. I shall stop the magic button. I really hope Ted's back next week, because it's going to get weird if we have to go all serious next week now.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Jamie Bone has a question to bring us back to Earth. What is the best way to make rigging for World War I aircraft?
Very easy. I can answer that. If I can get it out without this whole thing collapsing. And if I can find it, it's not there. It's not there.
George Taylor says, what's the best time? What time is it at the dentist? 2:30.
Oh, okay. I can't find mine. But for rigging an aircraft, get yourself some easy line. I'll put it in chat. You could
put it in chat. Actually, I've got some, but I can't find it either.
It's easy line. Unfortunately, at the moment, eModels don't have it in stock. They don't carry it, but you will find it here and there. It's more common in the US. You can find it in UK and Europe.
I found mine.
Have you?
I have.
Show it to the peoples.
There it be. You can't see it because it's very thin.
There it be. Yeah, you won't even see that, will you?
That is it. It's there. Look, and it stretches. It's really, really stretchy. Can't see it at all, but you can, honest, it's stretching. It is. Yeah.
You have to make the noise there.
So yeah, you get like a roll of that's going to last for 2 million years.
Yeah, it's basically rubber thread, and all you do with it is it's originally designed from model railroaders who want to do like power lines between power poles or whatever. It's basically a rubber thread. You get thick gauge and thin gauge, and all you do is, say you want to bridge a gap that wide, you would cut a piece maybe that long, and you would touch it into some super glue and touch it to the model. It would stick. Give it a few minutes to fully cure. Touch this end to some super glue. Just touch it in, stretch it, and touch it to wherever it needs to go. It will set within seconds because the super glue will set really quick, and that will then be a taut line. It will not go fluffy like thread. It will not stretch and droop. It will stay taut all the time. But the thing is, it's designed to be stretchable, and it will stretch apparently 700 times more its own length, which means, and I've watched video of people, they've got 2 telegraph poles on a model railway, and they've got these cables going between them really taut in easy line, and he gets his hand and he goes like that, and it just bends down like that, but it doesn't snap. You have to work hard to snap it. So if you're doing like the antenna rigging on an aircraft, or even on a ship or a boat, any kind of thing where you want cables and wires stretched between 2 points, get yourself some easy line. I can't tell you where to get it from because I found mine like on eBay at some point. You will find it. It's more common in the US, but you will find it. It's brilliant stuff. Just touch it with CA glue. Joy to work with, and that roll will last you for years. When I did my U-boat, I did all the steel antenna rigging in that, and it's brilliant. And you can paint it as well. It'll take a primer and paint. There you go.
There we go.
I couldn't find mine to show you. Let's have a look. Smooth says, Ushabti bone. I love how Foxx says that. Ushabti bone. Ushabti bone. I don't say it as well as Duncan, though. Tony Blackwell says, easy line is your best bet. Osric says, easy line.
Lots of love for easy line.
Jamie says, where do you get it from? Again, unfortunately, at the moment, eModels don't carry it. But it can be hard to get over here. So just have a quick look on, have a quick Google for it. You'll find it in a lot of places. It's mostly a model railroad thing, so you might find it in certain types of stores. But you find it online. I'll be picking your brains on that one, matey. John says Smear about something.
Dave asks if that tooth's got a cavity, would sprue glue fix it?
No, what you need, just cram it full of donuts. I find if you've got a problem tooth, just eat lots of donuts. You don't care.
Sounds fair, yeah.
Ilta van der Werf says Ushi van der Rosten. I didn't know they did any kind of. Is that relating to rigging and thread? Because I know they did. I know they did powders.
I don't know.
Why is Smooth saying how he likes how I say Ushabti bone?
Maybe because he likes how you say Ushabti bone.
But I hadn't said it.
But he must remember saying it.
Griff MJ says, "Isn't it fishing line?" No, it's rubber, stretchy. It's not. It's similar, but it's not like hardcore fishing.
Yeah, I mean, actual fishing line is designed to not stretch, so it's sort of the opposite.
Yeah, this stuff it is described as stretching 700 times its own length, and you literally can get a piece that long and stretch it out like that, and it won't snap. I mean, it will snap eventually if you stretch it long enough. Scale knicker elastic, says Tony Blackwell. How do you weather gingivitis, says Angus Allett. And again, just jam loads of donuts in it and give it time. It'll take care of itself.
Spid says, what do you call a Scottish dentist?
Go on.
Film a cavity.
That's an old one. GB Model Zone says, why do you think my 2 is still at the bottom of my stash? What, you have model teeth? Cool. Tooth in coat, says Spid. I missed something. Is that Foxx saying how to model gingivitis?
I don't know.
Ushi make a very fine thread, says Phil Lewis. Okay, I didn't know that. I mean, thread is fine. I don't know about the Ushi van der Rosen one. It might be absolutely brilliant, but the one thing any thread I've used, like normal sewing thread, the problems are it's not stretchy. It's not easy to attach without tying it round. And thread, most kinds, can go fuzzy after a while. It doesn't take the things very well.
I did thread on that biplane that I was waving around earlier, and I attached it with super glue, the same as you would with anything else, and it's gone on there fine, but it is fuzzy.
Yeah, it just goes like that. I don't know about the Ushi thread. I've never seen it, so I'm sure that might be absolutely probably designed for that purpose. It might not do that. But the other thing is, of course, because the easy line is rubber, it takes a paint and primer perfectly. No problem at all. Let's have a look.
Smooth says it's about that weird planey one. I think that might be.
Oh yes.
Sound like it.
Oh yes. Yeah. There you go. I don't want to be around for the urology build it yourself kits. Yeah. And we'll be grateful for Ted's return before that happens, says Spid.
Foxx sent a mail from Ted. I think it means he sent Foxx. I don't know. We can't go anywhere because we're waiting on email being delivered.
Okay. Ted wants to try something. Give me a moment, folks. This may be an interesting experiment that you might enjoy. You keep talking for a minute. I'll just look it on you, Chris. You just carry on.
Okay, I'll just ready to. Yeah.
Right. You want to keep them, not put them off.
Damn, too slow. Oh well. Right. So yes, we're almost approaching the end of the show this night, except for our new trial of something surprising that I don't know what it is yet. I'm sure we'll find out in a minute.
It might not work.
It might not work. Just like our normal shows, things are unplanned and yeah. Right. So remember, send your suggestions for my next build.
It's in the Hangout. It's in the Facebook thing.
Ted's in the Facebook thing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I think you might be trying to see.
Yes. Don't forget, send to ted@emodels.co.uk potential builds for me. You've still got several hours before I give up the search and just go and find whatever I can find when we go to eModels on Friday. Don't forget to come along to eModels on Friday if you're local, or even if you're not local and fancy a long drive. Other than that,
yep.
Foxx is back now. He's not typing anymore. So
no, I'm not typing. I finished ages ago.
Oh
my God!
Oh, is he actually going to be a video though? No, it's just going to be a still picture
in prison. Hey up, Tedward. Oh, he's on neighbour's broadband still.
We've got freeze frame Ted.
He's in the back of the prison van again. He's had a haircut as well. Look at that.
I don't know. Can you lock it on Ted? Because otherwise nobody will be able to see him because we can't hear him.
I've locked it on Ted. I don't think we're getting any sound off him though.
He's going to have to learn sign language then, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm guessing he's possibly on a laptop and he's probably stealing the neighbour's broadband.
Hello, Ted.
Hello, Ted.
Does Ted know he's live?
Yeah, we can't hear you though, Ted. There's a Ted in the house.
Oh dear.
What's it like in the back of that Securitas van?
Sergeant Bone says it's a wild Tedwood.
Wait, I've just had a thought. He's not like sat in the loo, is he, or something?
I don't want to know. Hi Ted. Hi Ted.
Because we don't know where in his new house he'll be doing his hangouts from.
Dave says, "Yeah, Ted's out of focus."
Yeah. Oh, he is as well. Yay. There we go. Quick test.
And that was lovely.
Thanks, Ted. You popped in to say hello, or wave hello anyway. That was fun. There was a question I spotted.
Did you? I missed that.
George Taylor says, I like that you call it easy line. I've heard some people, English people, say EZ line. That would make no sense because EZ, the letters E and Z suggest the word easy.
Technically, it should be EZ line, but we don't mind being foreign. Yeah.
Well, it's because E and Z together it suggests the word easy, as in it's easy to do. So it makes more sense to be easy line.
Ted said, sorry, it doesn't work. It does work. We sort of saw you.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of you. Everybody went suddenly bananas.
He says he's in a removal box.
Yeah, all is right with the world when Ted's out of focus, says Phil.
David Morris says, what time do you plan on arriving at eModels on Friday?
Well, if I'm driving all the way there, I'll set off at 9, so I might get there for about 11. If I might be meeting Ted halfway though and getting a lift from Ted because I don't trust my car not to explode halfway down the motorway because it's old and I only go at 50. So I don't know. Probably around about lunchtime, something. I'd say if you're going to come and visit us, make it after lunchtime because it gives us a chance to get there, and we're taking down all our build kits to get in the cabinet. So
I've got at least 2.5 hour drive to get there, and I'm going to let the London traffic die first. So I'm not going to be leaving till about 10.
Yeah,
and I'll probably grab some lunch on the way. So I reckon 1 o'clock I'll be there.
Yeah. So if you're gonna come along and visit us, you're more than welcome to. Probably give it, after 12, after 1 o'clock, something like just to give us a chance to get there and do what we need to do because we need to go into the shelves and start picking things for our next build. So we'll do all that before you guys turn up. So if you do like to come along, say after 1, come after 12 or 1, something like that.
Yep, we'll be there for a couple of hours anyway, I should think. So
Osric 9000 says ZPM or ZPM. I would say ZPM because that's
definitely ZPM's correct.
But also, go Canada. Of course, it's ZPM. Rodney McKay for the win. The only reason EZ on that product name is because it's easy. It's easy line, as in it's not difficult. It's like you go to a laundrette called EZ laundrette. It's like it's just easy laundrette because.
Yeah. Zed's looking forward to see what goodies we come home with.
Yay! Don't know yet. I've not planned my next eModels build. It's gonna be a while, but I've got to find something while I'm there. Isn't ZPM from Atlantis? Says Gerwin Moores. Yes,
yes. ZPM is from Atlantis. Yeah.
Yes. Not only is Rodney McKay awesome, he's also awesome and Canadian. So favorite series ever. Flush Ted says Griff MJ. Yeah, I do wonder where he was sat. It was
I try not to wonder these.
It wasn't like a living room or a bedroom wall or anything like that. It was very.
Well, maybe he's moved, but he hasn't put any pictures or anything up yet. So it could be lots of places.
Could be. But anyway, at least we know next door's broadband works anyway. Right. Well, I think we've kind of done everything, haven't we? We've done next week's giveaway. We've done last week's winners.
Yep.
Remember, if you've won a physical thing like a mug, if you've won something tonight, send an eModels. Can you do the talking?
Yeah. Send an email to ted@emodels.co.uk saying what you've won. If it's a mug or whatever, put your phone number in there as well as the address and what you've won, because otherwise we'll just send you random stuff.
Yeah. If we've had your address before, send us an email anyway, because A, we won't keep your address. Once we send the stuff out to you, we delete the emails. And 2, I can't remember what the second reason was. Oh, yes, we need the list. We need the emails to come in to remind us who to send what. So, and if you won a prize, if you won if you're smooth basically, and you won the thing that we were giving away, just make sure you put down which one it was. It was 4805, but make sure you say it's the frog foot, because there are 2 kits with the number 4805, and if you don't say which one, they'll send you a totally different aircraft.
And tell them you want a sticker as well. Then we're not going to bother sending it to you. We'll just put it in the box.
Yeah. So I think that's everything done. So I think that's everything.
So says, are you going to stream live on Facebook from eModels?
Depends.
Probably won't work, but you never know.
Well, unfortunately, the connection there is a bit naff. We've tried it before. We've gone. It's like, that's not going to work. We'll try, but
yeah. If not, I'm sure there'll be pictures and videos and stuff around. But yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll put up media if nothing else.
Last one, Tony Blackwell says, Chris, Trumpeter 144 Chinese Type 22 missile boat 00108. I'll look that one up as well. Thank you. But it's another boat, isn't it? It's a boat. They might do a boat. Yeah. At least it's not a plane.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yes, the way it normally goes when we get to eModels is that we spend an hour having a chat and dropping off our models, getting them in the case. Then Pete or James will put us to work filling shelves. So don't worry if we, apologies if we don't get to put many pictures up. We might not have time. I might be too busy working for our tea, so singing for our supper. Last time me and Ted went, we were helping James, mate, stack the shelves.
I can take pictures of you sticking the shelves. That's right.
Yeah, I was physically doing graft. It was most untoward. Anyway, I think that's going to do us for tonight, dude.
We are at 11 o'clock.
Exactly 2 hours. So it just remains for me to say thank you to everyone who has been watching. Thank you for all those in chat and all those that aren't in chat. Do stay tuned for next week. Don't forget, once this video is finished, go and find it 10 minutes later. Put a comment on it about whatever it was we said about the tooth. What was the
dentist noises?
Yep, dentist noises. And you can win that incredible 8:1 scale. 8:1 scale. When have any of you made a model bigger than the original? It's never happened, does it? Yep. There you go. You see, it's a unique experience. 8:1 scale human tooth. But that just remains for me to say thank you to all of you guys. Thank you to Chris again for tonight for coming on, as always, because he's one of the team now anyway, so he has to. I don't know why I made it sound like he was doing us a favour. Thank you so much to Ted for trying to pop in, and to Ted's neighbours for allowing him to.
I don't think they know.
Yeah, Ted's neighbours on the other side.
Oh yeah.
He might have just been trying. It might be on his phone actually. He might just be trying to use his normal 5G or whatever. But that's going to so thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Stay tuned next week. Ted might be back. You never know. He might not.
He might be back and you might be able to hear him.
Yeah, but if he's not back, there's plenty more body parts we can find models of.
Ooh. Shall I do next week?
Yeah.
If Ted's back, he can do it, but if not, I'll do it.
But the thing is, Chris, even if you do it next week, you've now got to beat my tooth.
I'm sure I can find something.
I had to beat your foot, so you've got to beat my tooth.
I'll start looking now.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you all next week.
Good night. Bye-bye.